Okay, guys. Fuck yeah. We're all set to go. Let me just, I gotta make the thumbnail really quick, so it's good that Porsalin's here, so I can not be too distracted, but, okay, let me unmute Discord here and talk to Porsalin.
Steve Miller.
Hey. Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey, Brian. I'm scrambling trying to find these people to get on, but Steve Miller, he's the co-host of MWhat, he's just gone out to dinner. He expressed his apologies. So I figured that because I've been on that Steve Reeves show before, and
Really?
yeah, we talked about the podcast stuff and talked about the Joe Matt when he shut the channel down and all that sort of stuff, and it was cool.
Yeah.
I've sent him. I mean, it's a Hail Mary. I've sent him a message, but
right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Karen said she was available, but she was kind of not talking. So
she just
I totally forgot. I would have messaged her earlier, but I even forgot she was on. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing something with Beige tonight, and then the fact that Beige was involved was like, I totally forgot about Karen.
Yeah.
She might turn up at some point. I've left her like a couple of bits and stuff. Just said like, if you get time, just hit me up on Twitter, and I'll keep looking at that. So
nice. Okay, and I'll set the side tube up here so we can get it.
I think I'm already inside you.
Nice.
This is purely a journalistic point.
I've got access as well. Like if you need clips or anything pulled up, I've got access to like all the links that are used for the documentary. So I should be able to, if you need them or if you're looking for them, I've probably got like quick access to them.
Okay, nice. So you have you've got like the ones that are they all on YouTube or maybe like at least something that's compatible?
Oh yeah, I mean I can. Yeah, most of them. Some of them are on YouTube. I can send you everything I've got. Actually, I'll just DM it to you. There's a fucking lot here, but
right. Some of the JRT ones are on archive, I think.
Yeah.
If we get into that, and those ones you can kind of like you can like make them. What do you call it? You can play them inside too. You can get the raw video filing, so that will be okay with.
I mean, worst case scenario, if you play it, I can kind of like do my best to just like if you play some off Facebook, because some of the Periscope videos are some things are on Facebook, some things are on. So like some things are like some of the best videos are from his Twitter feed as well. So I don't know how friendly that is with SciTube. Probably not at all, but yeah, they're kind of all over the place. There is some good stuff. Like there's some the Fixing Joe stuff is pretty much all on YouTube. And there's definitely enough like embarrassing videos of him on YouTube as well. So that's
yeah. The Karen stuff. Do you think Karen's gonna care if we like get all?
Nah, she's fine. She's fine with any like literally anything. Like
nice. I gotta make a thumbnail in a minute, but let's. So I figure like we can just play the documentary, and then as we get to each part, there'll be plenty of shit to like look into. Because obviously,
exactly. And
yeah, go ahead.
Most of the clips are on that you need are on the documentary anyway. They're not all that. Like obviously, they're just cut out the best bits. But worst case scenario, you'll still get some context of.
Nice
the clips.
Okay, so we're basically all set up. Let me switch this video maker off, and then switch the. Because obviously the video maker is right with us, is present.
Yeah. Did you get anything back from Beige?
Yeah, he said that once he's available, he'll do it.
Sick.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna be around. Maybe he'll just pop into the chat. I told him to just pop in and be
cool.
Yeah, so I think he'll show up for it. So we got video maker. That's off. Yeah, that's off. I just get rid of this other stuff because it's made for YouTube, and if it's not YouTube, it gets all funky. So, all right, awesome. So I guess we just get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me give you the leader while I make this thumbnail too. And then whenever you want to pause, feel free and we'll get into it.
Cool. Do you want me to just start it now? Or...
Yeah, go for it. Go
It's
for it.
gonna be really weird watching this back with my voice. But here goes.
I
nothing.
figured.
All right.
Right.
It's the standard disclaimer at the beginning. All right. Yeah, I'd be more prepared, but like I said, I was kind of scrambling, remembering that Karen was supposed to be on.
Tip? This is for single guys.
Yeah.
This looks very coupled up.
Once we get into it, I guarantee you it'll all come back.
Oh yeah.
Find somebody beneath you in every category.
Who is Joe MATARESE? What impulses drive this Italian-American comedian from New Jersey? And why is his story one of such intrigue to the online community? These are just some of the questions I hope to wrestle with as I investigate a comedy career spanning over 30 years.
Can you pause it for 1 second? This is gonna be so fucking sloppy, but I usually make the thumbnail in in OBS, so just give me a second to.
Dude, yeah, we can wait for that. Also, would you like to be leader? Because like I don't know when to pause, like as an like because I made it, like I don't really know when the best parts are, you know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like it's kind of like I get in my own head and I'm not watching it as like as a viewer kind of thing. So
sure, yeah, I hear you. Okay, I can do that. Yep, and this will just take like 2 seconds. So the rest of it I can do on a browser.
Nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
Beige is really hitting this Corrado Soprano Twitter account hard. It's very funny.
Who's the? Oh, that's like the alternate account for Anthony or something like that, right?
Dude, have you been seeing like catching all this stuff like that's been happening over the last 2 days? Well, probably the last 1 day. Like since Anthony's Twitter got suspended, he's just been going absolutely nuclear on his Corrado account.
Really?
Dude, he posted the subreddit's been great. He posted let me see if I can find it. It's on Redbar posted actually, 1 second. Yeah, he posted something about who's that fat guy that died, the Joker fat guy again. The troll that Anthony always celebrates the fact that he died, and he thinks that every troll looks like this fat Joker guy.
Fat Joker? It's not Ralphie May, is it?
No. He was from the subreddit. He died.
The Ronin. The Ronin 23.
The guy that like there's a picture of him in like Joker makeup and stuff, and he's just really fat and shit. And that's
the Ronin. Okay, we're back on.
Yeah, the Corrado Soprano account tweeted something. He wrote, "I love these rats trying to get my Twitter in trouble. They say nasty shit about my family and girlfriend, call me a failure in broadcasting, try to screw with my account. By the way, this is one of them. He's dead now, obvious reasons. This is the prototype for all these losers." And he posts a picture of the fat guy. But he's just been like absolutely like nuclear. Like to think that this Twitter account, he used to use it and he used to deny that it was him, and he used to use it just to like role play as fucking Uncle Junior. And now he's just like, fuck that, I'm Anthony and I'm mad as shit.
Is he like really pissed about this documentary?
Who, Joe or
Anthony?
I don't. Oh right, about Beige's.
Yeah.
No, Beige said that he's blocked him and he's refused. I mean, I think it's a similar thing with Joe with this documentary. It's kind of like pretend it doesn't exist and just pretend that this part of my life isn't happening. Just everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Let me. What's the exact what's the name of that Twitter account? I'll let people know.
Corrado Soprano 4. So CORRADO and then Soprano and then the number 4.
So yeah, if you want to see Anthony like doing his meltdown, well, I don't know what you would call it, his campaign of like hatred against Twitter and against all the trolls. Have you been seeing
the Gab account as well?
No, he's on Gab now officially.
Dude, Yeah, like we need to
me
probably
pull
go
it up.
through some of this stuff because okay, so some of the context from the Gab thing. He immediately got suspended. His Corrado account tweeted that I'm on Gab now. I'm Anthony Q. No, sorry, Acumia999 on Gab, and immediately just Roku, like loads of Rokumia accounts came up and said, like tweeting pictures of Rokumia as like this fucking dead person, and saying like, Anthony, why did you leave me in obscurity to die? It's just like really fucking hilarious, cruel
Oh
shit.
fuck, that's awesome. And he can't do shit about it because you can't.
Yeah, because he can't block, he can't. And there's just people with like Sue Lightning accounts, with Vine Girl accounts, with fucking, oh, you name it, and it's the worst thing. So he's only tweeted once or gabbed once on this Gab account, and it's like if you go through the replies to it, it's literally some of the funniest shit of all time.
Let me pull it up. Here it is. So, oh, I can't scroll down. What are you talking about? Hold on, I think I can. Okay, here it is. Oh, is there gonna be like NSFW though?
I didn't
know.
see any. I didn't see anything too bad. I think there was so there's some bull washers in there as well though, but
of course, yeah. Let me just scroll.
Oh yeah, hang on.
Sure. Yeah,
John,
I got it up.
I've turned my volume down now, so a bit lower.
Oh, were you loud?
Yeah, I'd forgotten that I turned my gain all the way up the other day because Lance couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay, no problem. Well, I actually had you down at 68% from earlier, like when I heard you earlier, because I figured it did sound loud, but I figured it was just me. But all right, I got you back up at 100 now. Oh, this is amazing. So he goes, I'm going to give Gav a try. Okay, well, there's one. There's one. I
mean, that one's low ball compared to the rest. The other ones are, again, there's hundreds though, so it's kind of like looking out for the right ones. The best replies I think so far though, on some of his Corrado tweets. There's one specific Corrado Soprano tweet that's the best one of all time because you know this whole obscurity thing. He tweeted, someone tweeted to him like saying, like basically justifying why Twitter is able to ban him, and just like basically, you know, like saying things like, Anthony, you're a bit of a hypocrite. You know, you go after bans and stuff, and this is just their way of doing it. And so Anthony replied, you don't quite understand the obscurity thing, do you? I have a show. I'm on TV and radio shows. Twitter isn't my only outlet, unlike you, who, after giving a second of attention, I will cast off to obscurity.
Oh,
see how it works? Bye now. I will cast off. He's like a fucking warlock, like casting people off to obscurity. And then there's like comments on it, like oh shit, Kumia's practicing wizardry now. Just
so here's here's that post you were talking about too. It's on the screen now. That's the Ronin. He was just a guy. He actually was on the show one time too, but he died. He was a Redditor too, and so Anthony's now just trashing him. He didn't even do anything to Anthony either. He never trolled him. He actually liked the show. I'm pretty sure.
He's become this like just this vision of what Anthony sees as every single Redditor. So I think every time he reads a reply, he's just picturing the fat guy with a Joker face on like every reply. But yeah, if you look at some of the replies to these, they're really funny. Like Red Bar's got a thread in the Brimback group right now of just like looking at some of the replies and just some of the names of the people, like Anthony Smooth Skin and shit. Just all these Twitter accounts. It's so funny.
He is just doing Anthony things, and it's funny that he used to pretend that this wasn't him.
Yeah, dude, it used to be literally a fucking parody Soprano account, and he would tweet pretending to be. He would like use all the nuances and use all the phrases that Junior would say, and it was kind of like his way of, I think, trying to be funny. And now he's just completely this is Anthony now. This is like, yeah, by the way, I might have a Corrado Soprano avatar, and I might be called Corrado Soprano, but don't be fooled. I am Anthony Cumia, I promise. This is just my way of getting around the... like, how more in obscurity can you get?
Yeah, right.
LARPing behind a 1990s television show character.
This is the point he's at. It's like, oh, no. Fucking...
Oh, my God.
Calling people... I just found that tweet you're talking about, too. You don't quite understand the obscurity thing, do you? I have a show. I'm on TV and radio shows. Twitter isn't my only outlet, unlike you. I will cast off to obscurity. Good God.
Dude, He's on about, yeah, I'm on other things. Like, okay, you're on radio. No. Sirius XM won't let you in the fucking building. You're on TV. No. Fucking Red Eye was cancelled a year ago and your TV credits are shit. Like, let's not pretend you're on anything. You're on InfoWars. And you're on, like, InfoWars for fucking an hour a week.
And that's not even on YouTube anymore either. It's on, like, Periscope. And we know how Periscope is with Anthony. That's not a good mix.
His TV is back to Periscope. Unbelievable.
He's going nuts, by the way, too. 17 hours ago. So I'm at 7. Yeah, like he's got at least like 100 tweets probably in the past 2 days.
Yeah. And there's a huge brigade of people on the subreddit that are just shutting his Twitter down, mass reporting his Corrado things, telling at Jack, by the way, this is actually Anthony Cumia disguised as a Soprano character.
Oh, he's probably so pissed at that too. He really. You should give Twitter
it's like a fucking dastardly thing to do, just like to navigate your way past the rules. Is just like fucking put on a Cumia fucking Sopranos mask and go.
Like it's time to stop, Anthony. It's, I mean, like how badly is he addicted to Twitter at this point?
The funny thing is, like in that tweet where he's on about, these people, they're abusing my family, yada yada yada. Like he's saying a lot of like legitimate things they're doing, and then halfway through, he's like shutting my Twitter down. It's like he rates him being taken off Twitter as like up there with fucking with his dead mom. He thinks they're both on the same kind of like moral equivalency.
Oh my god, he's going here. Oh, see you, Zanhead. Happy birthday, dude. Zanhead said he's leaving, but make sure he can watch it later. Yeah, it should stay up. There's nothing on here that would come down. But yeah, he goes, this platform is spent. It's like, no, Anthony, this is
your career is spent.
This is like account number 5 now or so. It's like, good God. And he really is just doing like the James Woods stuff, who's that guy? Dave, I forgot his name, Dave something, who does like, he's like the Scottish or Irish, what do you call it? Conservative like YouTube guy. He's just still doing the same stuff.
He literally just can't help himself. Like there's no helping him. But I just thought that was really fun. If people haven't like looked into what's going on with him, the subreddit right now is actually like, I know the subreddit is oftentimes really just cringy with the same Bob Kelly, you know what, dude posts and stuff like that. But when stuff like this happens, it's always fun to like go there because good, some of the posts are fucking hilarious.
That's fucking awesome. Let's see. I got a DM. Oh, that was from Hugh Easy or whatever. All right, so what's up?
I got a DM from Beige. I don't know if you're just going to talk about Beige. I just got a DM from him saying he's got like some kind of cat emergency or something.
Ah, damn.
He said he can still make it. He's just got to sort this cat medical emergency out.
Okay, so we'll probably have Beige later, so that'll be cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be like second hour.
Yeah. So there's Anthony. That's what Anthony's up to. If you want to follow him, definitely go for it. And then now we'll go right into MATARESE. It's amazing. Yeah, someone said James Woods is funnier than him. James Woods really he's pushed the limits, and he's never been banned. It's crazy.
It's because he's intelligent. He's a really, really, really smart guy. He's like got really high IQ, and like you can read his tweets, and they make a really strong point, but they're not done in a sort of stupid like monkey hitting a typewriter thing like Anthony's is. Anthony's is just like he's dumb that he'll just use like stupid words like savage and like just literally outwardly racist tweets. Like I think the first time he got suspended was the time where was it the transgender woman, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like basically definitely you're gonna get banned for that.
I might be able to find it. But
he could have made that point without abusing her and without using like he'll always use like terms like Trump does with dog things. He'll use it in a racial term, and he can make his point without going to that like nuclear fucking word.
Right.
But he can't help himself. Yeah. He has to let them know that he's a vile racist.
He gets pissed. He just works himself up on there. It's like Anthony, he is so funny too. Like when he wants to be, and it's like he doesn't. That part of him, it seems like it's kind of it's almost like gone away completely. He's just let the anger take over.
Yeah,
he's like, I got my show, but it's like, well, you're doing the same thing on there. Where's our phony Anthony again?
Like episode 4 of the Beige Show just like cemented it perfectly when it talks about, especially about like the minute it turned on him after like going after the doxes and stuff and trying to like that is like that was exactly it. That was the time. Like before then, he could have like I was talking to some people yesterday about like, is there any chance that he could do anything to like save face or to turn the tide? But it's just once he's done that, it was just he declared war with the subreddit and they just didn't give a fuck anymore.
He's attempted many times. I'm pretty sure that's what all these OP things are. I mean, he would never admit it, but I do think like the reason he's doing that is to like see if he can get the subreddit back on his side. And that was the funniest fucking thing because the subreddit just goes and they just all of a sudden in unison start supporting OP. It was like, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't even believe people were able to coordinate that, but that had to have pissed them off.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like you're not with the subreddit. Like you're not dealing with fucking idiots. You're not dealing with people that are like they're kind of like dumb to the internet, that are naive about how like they know what Anthony was trying to do. They're not dumb. They know that Anthony was trying to do the whole Greg Shell. He's reviving Greg Shells again because he knows that his show's not really getting heat as far as like people don't really like it. Yeah, he's doing well commercially with it, but I don't think people like it, and I think he knows. So he's like, well, let's rustle the Greg Shell's nest a bit, and maybe people will start talking about me again. And
that's
they did.
Like. Yep.
They put OP ahead of you, Anthony. That's what you did. Great job.
Just to get back at him, it was great. You gotta love that. That subreddit, like, it still has it in them. It's not them that went bad. It's like the events that just dried up, I think, really.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so that's a solid like update and everything on that, and then I guess let's get started because I'm good. My thumbnail's done. My thumbnail is in place now. Everything's set. So let's do it.
With credits including America's Got Talent, The Late Show with David Letterman, The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and Chelsea Lately. However, the universe surrounding Joe spans far wider than his profession, and to fully appreciate the mind of such a man requires a significant historical context. The objective of this documentary is to present a rough outline of Joe's hopes and aspirations, as seen through the projects he undertakes, and
By the way, did you have any sort of copyright issues with the America's Got Talent clips or anything?
No.
Nice.
Although I did do a couple of things, like a lot of the B-roll footage, like before the show bit. I cut up at the where the show cut up. I just cut it up and just reorganized it a little bit just to fuck with the whatever it is. And
nice.
Most of the clips I kept fairly short, and like I would sometimes I'd have the audio bed, and then I would fuck around with with shots and stuff that just to like mix up the footage a little bit. So I think that might have worked, or maybe that was all pointless and it wouldn't have got copyright slammed anyway.
Because I was thinking we could play those whole clips, but I have a feeling that might do the auto block thing.
Yeah, all the clips I used, the AGT stuff was the one I did think would have an impact. I have got when you get like copyright stuff that doesn't affect your channel though, it's just like, oh, by the way, we know that this music has been used, but you can't monetize anymore or whatever.
I get them on every stream.
Yeah, I did get that, but I mean, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm trying to make money out of this thing, so it's
exactly
fine.
So yeah, so then cool, we'll be fine. Other than that, I think every other thing we'll be able to get into, like with the Karen stuff. We got to play some of that like 2-hour Karen compilation.
And the Steve Rees show is definitely somewhere, and I can unroot that, and that was great. That was
definitely. So okay, yeah, well, we should be set past the AGT.
Measure those against the demons that have plagued him in recent years. The tale of Joe Matarese is one teeming with lies, angry outbursts, and impulsive deeds, and as such has attracted unwanted attention from subreddits to Discord servers where mockery of this type is in abundance. That said, this documentary will only act as a small window into the world of Joe Matarese, using a few examples of his erratic behaviour to chronicle an incredibly troubling period for the 50-year-old father of two.
Someone said the tag team champions about MATARESE, but you gotta hand it to like everyone. Fucking stinks. Mark underscore
dude, yeah.
like all the people like Red Bar, all of Red Bar's fans, like all the people who were doing those call-ins and stuff. Like, this
was
really
almost
was
like
an onslaught.
that was almost like part of the charm and the fun of doing this is that I got to relive some of the like funny little moments we had, like just like calling in and stuff and just constantly getting on this guy. And I remember when that guy called up the Nick the Polo show, that fucking hilarious call, and we were all just on hold waiting, and then this guy calls in and just fucking gives him the business. So it was really fun to like go through all the audio again and sort of make this. Because otherwise, like all the stupid shit we used to do, that like it is stupid shit, but it was kind of fun. And otherwise, it would have just like disappeared into the ether a little.
Yeah, right.
This documentary begins at the height of Joe's fame in July 2014. America's Got Talent. He appeared on the show as a struggling father and husband, chasing his dream of being a successful comedian.
My name's Joe. I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy today.
The America's Got Talent production team conveyed a heartwarming against all odds story, painting Joe as the hero. His set was viewed by millions, and a panel including Howard Stern, Heidi Klum and Howie Mandel gave him a standing ovation. After just 2 minutes of innocuous material ranging from growing old to being a father, Joe became a national sensation, albeit temporarily.
I'm gonna put the links, by the way, guys. I'm gonna put the links for the full ones in the chat, so you can watch if you want. But they're definitely gonna get hit because they're still on the verified AGT sort of channel thing. So these two links are gonna be the 2 times he appeared. After that, he was kicked off, as you'll see in a second. So besides that, I think we'll actually be able to play everything.
I think I could win an Oscar for some of my performances in my own living room. The category would be nominees for Best Caring in a Non-Caring Situation by a Father.
Until now, Joe's biggest credits were limited to a handful of appearances on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson in 2011, and 2 performances on The Late Show with David Letterman, including this one in 2007.
2 kids, you need medication. You really do. That's totally true. Like, I've been on anti-anxiety medication for about a year and a half now, and I highly recommend them, seriously. It's the best thing I've ever done with my life. Like, this is how great they are. A couple weeks ago, I get pulled over for going 63 in a 60. Yeah, I look in my rearview mirror, I'm watching the guy write the ticket, and as he's writing it, this came out of my mouth. I'm like, well, you know, I was 3 over.
Ugh. What the fuck?
As Joe advanced to the next
That
round
little
of America's
fucking-
Got Talent,
That little,
little shrug.
That was good. And somebody said his delivery was so forced.
I just heard from Karen, by the way. She just DM'd me. Hey, I just woke up from a nap. That's great about tomorrow. Let's figure it out. So I think she's talking about me coming on tomorrow. But I've asked if she wants to come on right now.
Yeah, or tell her if she wants to, like, you know, wake up and stuff. We could do it in like an hour if she wants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get Karen. Karen will be treated like a VIP. Who's Karen, James Schaefer? You'll see. You'll see who Karen is. We'll get there.
something changed. Having already saturated the emotional reception his previous audition managed, the production team concluded he was now surplus to requirements. The same material that had the panel in hysterics a week before was now deemed unfunny, and Joe bombed terribly.
As you know, I'm 46 years old, 2 kids, which has been killing me. I gotta be honest. When I had 1 kid, it was so much easier. All I had to do was drink like 2 beers at dinner, and I'd be like, where's he going? You know? He just broke that thing I loved.
This would represent a significant disadvantage to the comedian,
The thing is, though, you gotta be fair to Joe in this situation, and it's like, well, why did they treat him like they loved him so much?
He got
He
fucked.
did the same thing.
Yeah, it's the fucking America's Got Talent narrative, isn't it? I'll let like.
Yeah.
I mean, I go on in the thing to like talk about it, but it's that they saturated their the use of Joe and his kids, and you can't really replicate that emotional response to it the second time round because people have heard it. So at that point, it becomes a case of yeah, here's the guy with a kid, instead of like, oh my god, this guy is so brave and he's doing this for his kids and his family and stuff. It's just like, yeah, there's the guy with his kids, and where's the next emotional heartstring pulling people that we need to care about?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it was a total like a real Joe's like stupid enough that he fell for it, and like I wouldn't have gone on the next week if it was me. I'd be like, no, because you guys are you're gonna fuck me over, aren't you? And especially if you turn up there and there's no audience. It's kind of like, okay, something's fucked.
His wife's the one that told him to start taking like antidepressants and Adderall and everything. I don't know if she prescribed it to him, but I remember him saying that on some Fixing Joe, where he was like, "Yeah, my wife, got me on all these things." Like that's kind of crazy.
Just quickly, Karen said, "Teach me how to come on. I'm downloading Discord right now."
Oh, fuck,
okay, so
yeah.
I'm just gonna mute myself just for a second while I type away.
Awesome. Okay. I'll just keep playing a little bit and just go along with it.
One that would only encourage him to keep trying. Just as his hero, Rocky Balboa, never gave in, Joe would not be deterred, and despite this appearance signifying the peak of his exposure as a working comedian, Joe would soldier
that face right there.
on. A running theme of Joe's is discussing his ongoing battle with psychological
What's
issues.
up, Jake?
The role of medication is not only prevalent in his everyday life, but on stage also. As a husband to a pharmacist, the subject of medication is something Joe heavily leans on when performing.
Seriously, I've been on
just quickly, Brian,
antidepressants
by
for
the
about...
way.
Yeah.
If I need a link to the Tefno server,
Oh yeah.
can I create one, or is it going to be invalid? Or
I think you should be able to create one. Hang on, and if not, I'll DM you one, or she can use just the discord.me/tef. That brings people.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
About a year, and I highly recommend them, man. Best thing I ever did. My doctor said, Celexa, he goes 20 milligrams, and I'm kind of cheap, okay? So I started breaking the medication in half.
So pivotal to Joe's material this was that he named his 2016 CISO special Medicated. He would also promote the special using a picture of himself with his hands overflowing with prescription meds. Likewise, struggling with a reliance on pills soon became a regular topic on his self-help styled podcast, Fixing Joe.
He used to have like every episode up on YouTube, and then when something went wrong, I think it was the Fixing Joe with Artie and Anthony, all of them were just getting bombed with like dislikes and everything, and I think he took them all down.
Yeah.
His whole YouTube presence and like social media, because comedians need to have that nowadays. It just
he
went
tried
away.
He tried a few things, because it's actually kind of sad, because he did put a lot of money behind it. It's a multiple camera shoot. He paid for the band, even though the guy fronting the band's his neighbor, Artie Tobiah. So he did all this stuff for it, and he tried, like, his idea was, I've got like these amazing comedians on, I'm going to put it behind a paywall. So it was literally just going to keep the video behind his website paywall and like pay for it, kind of thing. And then when that like backfired and people were like, what, you've done this fucking huge thing and you're going to put it behind a paywall, you fucking idiot. And then he put it on YouTube, and then obviously the backlash, and then he tried renaming it to the point where he's now got it up. I think it's called something like Watch Me Bomb on a podcast or something.
Okay,
so
Karen's in, by the way.
Ah, sick. All right, let me she's not so.
Yep.
Weird.
And Nick, I'm not dodging you. I already said, if you wanted, you're gonna join. You cannot do it with me knowing about it, which I said I'm sure already happens anyway. But
Nigga,
I
it's
cannot
nigga.
be sponsoring that, Nig. And you know why. This is no mystery.
She's in Porsalin stream. We can probably drag her
move
over
in.
to.
Hey, Karen, can you hear us?
Hello. Hey, Karen.
Oh, we can hear you,
Hey,
Mike. Oh, there you are.
We're good. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Perfect.
Very cool. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm well rested now. I took a nap and I'm feeling chill.
Yeah, I tried to. It was my fault, like basically, because I totally forgot. I even forgot about this stream until like an hour ago, and then Braun's like, "Oh, did you speak to Karen?" I was like, "Oh shit!" So I tried to like send a couple of messages, and I ended up going to like Steve Miller and even Steve Reeves to like see if they would like maybe tap in, but no, good thing that managed to get in eventually.
Now, Karen, are you on your computer?
No, my phone.
Okay, let's see. Let me see if this works for you. I'm gonna send you a link. It'll show up right on that main chat right there. See if you are able to get in, because that way you can watch the documentary with us and watch all the other clips with us. And if
I haven't memorized, but let me see. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because we're on the stream right now. We got 64 people watching.
How about now?
You can see Can you see that? Like, that link I just sent you, can you, watch? Can you get into that and also be on your phone? If not, it's okay.
Yeah, like I said, I know, like, I would love to be able to see it right now, but I'm not getting what you're sending me.
Okay, here.
What is it?
It should show up in a private message too.
We could maybe like talk about the doc if we don't, and then get to the doc later on or something.
Yeah, that works.
I'm trying to find what you sent me, but I can't. I'm really bad at this. It's amazing that I'm on now.
Yeah, it's the first time you've been Discord, so it's fine. In the main chat of this in Discord, Braun has sent a little link for you. And that'll take you to SideTube where we can sync watch the documentary together.
All right, let me see.
See if she gets it.
Ron has sent me a link. Where is the link?
So I can I'll DM it to you as well.
Okay, cool. Do that.
There it is.
Oh yeah, if you just DM it on Twitter, that works perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna lose you guys for a second, I think. Hold on, okay?
Okey-dokey.
You should be able to still talk. Like, you'll hear us and be able to talk in the background. And
this is dope, Ron. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can. Okay, joining the state.
Yep. And then you see the DMs. If you swipe from the left, you'll see DMs. You'll see at the very top above the little server icon, you'll see 2 DMs. And either one
I see
of them,
some great comments. Am I dude? And I see comments right now. Like they're great. But is that the right place to be?
Yeah, if you want to do that, there'll be a little bit of a delay for you, but you'll still be able to see it. Like, if you can see the video, you can see me like waving in like probably 10 seconds. You'll be able to. It'll work for you.
All right. Okay. I don't see that yet, but hopefully soon. I just see the comments now.
Are you still in Discord or are you on the YouTube? Oh,
I'm still in Discord.
okay. Porsalin, maybe send it in a Twitter post or in a Twitter DM.
Yeah, I've just sent it in a. I have sent it in a Twitter DM.
Oh, perfect. So if you just go to your Twitter, you'll still be able to talk to us though. But if you go to your Twitter and check the DM, that's where you go.
All right, cool. Let me do that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry, everybody, that I'm fucking it up.
No, it's okay.
Not at all. Not at all. Good that you're here.
Yep. Alexandra.
It's taking me to something called SciTube.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
There you are. So you're in it now. So now, do you see the video screen? But it's paused on the Fixing Joe. It's paused on that.
I have it paused on. It says currently playing an in-community group, but yeah, I see it.
All right, awesome. So we're ready to go. So I'm about to press play, and you can just watch along with us. Anything you want to talk about or comment or anything like that, I'll pause it for all of us. We're all in sync, and we're all set.
This is a dream come true. Like, okay.
There you go. Yeah, it is for us too. All right, here we go.
What you guys? I posted up there on Twitter and Facebook. What do you guys think of me switching to 20 milligrams? I feel like it's been great. I feel a lot better. I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to do this, or maybe it's because I'm done the special and I have a lot less on my plate. But like, I was just sitting on my deck in my backyard, just listening to birds tweeting.
The concept of Fixing Joe was simple. In a world where Opie and Anthony style comedy podcasts where as many as 4 or 5 working comedians would each compete for the best line, Joe saw an opportunity. Instead, he would invite comedians onto the podcast to attempt to help Joe work through his perceived psychological hang-ups. The show would play out as a long-form conversation, with little to offer to the guest other than the opportunity to fix Joe. That's...
By the way, so Karen, when did you discover Joe, and how did you discover him?
Okay, I discovered Joe at like I was suffering from paranoia, not like aliens are following me or the FBI is following me. I was suffering from like trans-related paranoia about like bathrooms and coworkers and stuff. So I really got lost in Fixing Joe because he was so honest and so great, and that happened about 18 to 24 months ago. So I had about the show started about an hour, a year and a half ago, our show, and I had about a 6 months running head start of loving Fixing Joe.
Oh, nice. So you knew about Joe before the Artie and Anthony episode.
For 6 months, a fascination and actual obsession was beginning, yeah.
What was he like back then? Because obviously we only saw post that episode, really. I mean, I saw him on Andy Kimmy show a bunch, but
he was king of the castle. Like no one, challenged Joe. Like we just sucked at his teat. You know what I mean? Like everything he told us was gospel, and we loved him.
Nice. So. But when all this happened, were you offended for Joe, or were you just like, well, this is kind of funny in a way? So you were.
Well, as a former stand-up and just into humor, I appreciated the humor of it all. But at first, I got really offended at I was never mad at the O&A crew for like downloading it and putting it out there, the live podcast. That was very natural. That was very naive of Joe not to understand that. But I was originally very mad at the Red Bar camp.
Oh, okay. And did you end up coming around? Because I know like you and Red Bar talk, right?
Yeah, well, even when I admired what Mike had built, but I didn't like that he was calling around to Joe's gigs and all that shit. But Mike totally swung me. If you ever check out, an episode of ours called Monumental Moments, it tells the story of like what happened with me and Red Bar.
Okay.
And it was like a long trek. It started out as with animosity and disrespect for me, but all along the way I was having like online conversations, very quick in nature with Mike, and we were always very civil. And I always found him to be very fair, and not like off air a little bit different than he was on. And then I just started to like Red Bar, and even when I didn't quote like Red Bar end quote, like I sort of did.
The funny thing about because I remember those calls that Mike did, and he did his Joe impression, and he wasn't like trying to cancel gigs, he was trying to get Joe gigs, like if I remember, and he was calling, I can't remember what comedy clubs he was calling, but he was calling them doing like, hey, I want it, you got a spot for it, all that kind of stuff. And like the funniest thing for me was the idea that these comedy clubs like weeks later would get really mad because Joe's no showing all over New York.
Yeah.
Dude, we fucking Joe and he's just not turning up. What's going on? And then they're all like talking to it. That for some reason really tickled me.
Like the Red Bar thing was way too chaotic for it. I just turned on my fan. Like I hope that tell me if that's an annoying sound in the background. But the Red Bar thing was way above Joe's head. He never had a chance to understand, like, because, like I said, before the trollery started of Joe, he was the king of as you perfectly described, small niche group.
Yeah.
He's ill-prepared to handle this type of trollery, and from two different reasons. Number one, he's ill-prepared, and number two, he didn't have to deal with it before.
Yeah,
it's a very like closed group of like fans, and like with his podcast being kind of self-help oriented, it did seem that like before bring the Fixing Joe live, I think he just wasn't prepared for the mass exposure that he got very, very quickly, and it tested parts of his psychology that he's never had tested before. He's never had to deal with a wide audience being involved in him like that before. I mean, I guess America's Got Talent, but that was a very different kind of audience. That was, and that was a very passive audience anyway. It was kind of like he was there one week and then the next week he's gone.
Well, that's been like a hunt of our show, like a quest of mine over the year to try to get Joe to fucking, and I think now is the best time ever because your documentary took it to a whole higher level. I've been trying to get Joe to look inward and say, what is it about me that makes people so fascinated about my, this is Joe talking. What is it about me that makes everyone so fascinated? And he needs to tap into that and enjoy it, find peace with it. And that's, you know what I mean? Because you're hand delivering him, and we've all been hand delivering him, like people that are interested in him. And he has not figured out a way to tap into the good stuff of that, and that is totally on him.
He's made attempts, like through the documentary, things I picked up on was there were attempts of him trying to get back on board, and especially the one where he challenges Mike to do a 1 hour show together, and like he's obviously like medicated, and he's getting very excited about the idea and the prospect of like, yeah, we could sell tickets and make it a thing, and he's really playing down the animosity that he's got for Mike in a sort of, I think, partly to monetize it, but also partly and probably more likely to try and downplay the whole thing, to try and be like, look, it's all fine. We're actually, it's only a bit of online thing. We can actually look, we'll do a show together and it'll be fine and it'll be fun and stuff. And unfortunately, he can't, it's impossible for him to stay in that path because he gets distracted by more negativity. And he's like he's like a fucking cat with a fucking fly swatting at shit.
Yeah, exactly. And also he's like, we figured out, me and Karen Philfan, that Joe might be manic. He tries these things for 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and if it doesn't work after 2 days, it's not like he's got no long-term like view of it. If it doesn't work after 2 days, it was never going to work. So he's like, no, fuck that. Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, this you can also look at this whole thing from like a perspective of like if you're a comedian, watch this as a lesson in how to not deal with internet trolling, escalate trolling, and like just make it worse and never end. Because he just did everything, all the decisions he could have made. He made the one that would make more trolls come after him, like all the way down the line.
Yeah, there needs to be a book about like how not to try and just literally chronicle Joe's thing. Just say don't do every single one of these things he's done.
Oh, I mean, it's just he's like a he's so fascinating. You know what I mean? Even when he ghosts us, like he's still he's still the best. Like when he comes out of his ghosting shells, it's even more great. You know what I mean? Like we're on episode 28. You have a 50-minute documentary. Mike does 45-minute segments. You know, this guy is great.
We'll have to talk a bit later about his new the whole dad thing, because I do want to hear what you think about all that stuff.
Sure.
But I'm conscious as well. Obviously, you've got a show tomorrow. Monumental waste of time.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is my topic.
I don't want you to like burn all your thoughts on this before you do that.
That's totally fine. I appreciate that, but I won't. It'll be fine. If anything, it'll help me.
Okay.
Let's play a little more and get a little further into it.
That said, the self-help format of the podcast attracted a small but niche audience, including the transgendered host of the Joe Matarese fan podcast Monumental Waste of Time, Karen from Philly.
Right now, what can you talk to Joe?
I'm pissed, Joe. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm pissed off. You got me heated right now.
Heated?
Because
you're pissed at me?
Yeah, I'm pissed at you. We asked you to come on because listen, we asked you to come on. You didn't, and then you didn't want to do it. So fine, no big deal. Now you call in the middle of my show.
So what, babe?
But we already had stuff going, and everything gets rearranged now because the great and powerful Joe's on the phone. Like,
he's a celebrity. Yes, he's a celebrity.
It was at this time that Joe began forming a close working relationship with Anthony Cumia of Opie and Anthony.
Yeah, so that was you. That was your podcast, and you had you made Karen made a podcast where it was a SUPERFAN Joe Matarese podcast where they would like discuss Matarese, and before all this, it was probably kind of like a really, really niche thing where mainly just the people from his Connect Pal would watch and all that. But after that, like when all this stuff really started, you guys had a lot to talk about, and you had like probably a lot more viewers too.
Well, you know what? We still don't get a lot of viewers, and I'm fine with that. But you know, we get like somewhere between like I don't even know if they're unique views, but we get somewhere between like 600. We average like around 700. It's not a lot, but it's interesting. You know what I mean? And we've gotten, you know, when Steve had the blowout with Joe on the show, that one doubled what we normally get, and you know, it's just a quality affair. That's the main thing for me doing it. We put on a quality show, and eventually people check it out.
Right. Yeah, that one episode, and we'll get into it. We'll wait to talk about it, but the one where Steve versus Joe, that's like so good. We'll get into that pretty soon.
But yeah, the show started out as mostly complimentary of Joe, but not really, because A+, my former co-host, who's actually a guest on tomorrow's show, it was a great balancing act. You know what I mean? We made for great fodder, and it was an interesting dynamic. My love of Joe, and her, like, you know, breaking him down. But I also break Joe down too by, you know, being like presenting both sides in every issue.
Thing is, like Steve Miller is really, I think it's really funny. I like his part in it, but and not that he's not even playing the A+ role anymore. But I can't even remember, like, what was the big a sort of a summing up of why you and A+ kind of went your separate ways? Was it that she wanted to do her own show or something? Or?
Well, she wanted to do her own show, and it could have just been that. But I had written a piece for Medium about starting the podcast. It's on there, you know, under Karen from Philly. It's actually a good read. I used to write professionally for magazines and newspapers, and like it details that. But in it, I talked about some sexual stuff on the show about me and A+. And I used to go on major market radio here in Philly and tell true life stories, but it changed. You know, the tenor of the audience has changed now with trolling. It could have got abusive to her, and we just had a falling out.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we ever stopped loving each other, but we stopped hanging out.
Right.
Loving each other platonically, but
right.
So she's on the show tomorrow, and we'll see if we delve into the past. I don't think we are. You know, there's so much going on about Joe right now. It might be worth.
All right, here we go.
Joe would frequently appear on Anthony's new show, The Anthony Cumia Show, hosted on his own network, Compound Media, and ran by a former police officer, Keith the Cop.
You know what? He was actually an actor before Gilligan's Island, and older people knew who he was. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's Gilligan's Island. It's the fucking millionaire.
The platform quickly gained a controversial reputation as a hotbed of far-right and often racist rhetoric.
If you go back, for as far back as national crime rates have been collected, blacks have committed crimes at substantially higher rates than whites.
Hate facts, meaning something that is indisputably true, but which upsets so many people and is called, like, which is gets you labeled a bigot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry I can't read a book because I went to public
the
school
Gorilla
for
Channel.
2 years.
Still, the appeal of featuring
still
on a
around,
network
by the way.
that included the likes of Talib
Dude,
Starks
they've given
and
that
Gina
show
Visconti
like
was enough for
like
Joe
4
to
days a
continue
week
using
now.
Compound Media's paid subscriber
It's
base
their
of over
flagship morning
100,000
show.
listeners to plug his podcast and upcoming gigs. Although Anthony didn't quite enjoy the same chemistry with Joe as he did with Jim Norton, they still shared many interests. Both would often bring...
Karen, I don't know. We got a question from the viewers here.
Sure.
They want to know if you breed. They want to know if you breed moths in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a basement apartment. It's actually huge. It's not like someone's house. It's in a building. So it's huge, but it's decrepit. And any question is good. Like, everything is low end here. I can leave the house during the day and not even lock my door if I don't want to, because anybody that steals anything is doing me a favor.
Nice. All right, we'll continue here.
Break into impressions with segments littered with popular catchphrases from the likes of Tony Soprano, Andrew Dice Clay, and Tony Danza.
This kid watching porn, it's a different thing, right? If he would have caught me watching porn, Tony would have been like, oh, what the fuck is that, fucking porn? That Bang Butt 7? Oh, it's a fucking classic. Good for you.
Since I came up...
I have to say, Joe has one good impression, in my opinion, where it's like, that's pretty damn good. It's his Jim Florentine impression.
Yeah. He's
you gotta give it to
one
him.
is like so kind of like hacky, just it's like everyone. Like, have you ever, do you remember Viduka? Used to come around the Discord a little. Dude, he's got a fucking great Tony Soprano, way better than Joe's, and he's like a fucking British guy from Leeds. His Tony Sopranos are really good, but like Joe's Tony Soprano, he shouldn't be doing that on stage, man. I mean, it's good. I get the joke, but it's not great.
I wanted to say that Cumia actually comes off very funny in this documentary.
It was some of his better moments.
I just want to say that wasn't my intention.
I know, but it's just like he's got a lot of funny moments. This thing here, this dice, this thing is funny. Also, when he does Tony Danza and he says thoughts and prayers, and I love my favorite segment, also because it's like rare video, it's not easily found, is the A&A show near the end. It wraps it up so incredibly and in hilarity.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get copyright struck for that. Stinks did get copyright struck for including like his phone call, I think, at that on that show, and he won the case against Keith. So I think Keith's kind of got it in his head that it's probably a waste of time and probably jeopardizing his own channel if he's making arbitrary kind of flags and stuff.
Yeah, and we have to. Oh, go ahead, Karen.
I just want to say that this documentary is so intelligent, funny, and well written. Porsalin, it's
thanks.
It's so amazing and so great, and your narration is outstanding.
Much appreciated.
I've heard through through the grapevine there might be more documentaries on other people to come.
Yeah, I ran a little poll on Twitter to like see what people would want. I think I've got it down to like maybe 4 or 5.
Nice,
but it's probably
and we should credit Viduka too for the tapes. He's the maker of the tapes. Right?
Jason Yates. Jason Yates is the tapes guy.
Okay.
Viduka does a lot of other stuff. He doesn't really show his face, right? It's really annoying, man. Like he used to be everywhere, and now he's kind of like can't seem to find him.
The tapes was very unfairly targeted with copyright strikes, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Even though what he made, or Jason Yates made, included like snapshots of a video, like barely anything. It was totally unfounded, but Keith went through a period where he was just flagging everything.
Even Saiyans got hit with like unfair copyright strikes.
Yeah. And it's so annoying because a fucking 2-year-old could read fair use law, and what Saiyans does is completely protected. It's totally fine. But Keith's approach is just take everything down and we'll deal with the consequences later. If it means, worst case scenario, they'll get their channel back or they'll get their video back like 3 months down the line. It's like, it's not really a fucking solution.
Right. So let's continue.
Over to Mohammed. My new Arab name is Dices. And I'm a terror. I'm a comedy terrorist. Oh!
Joe even cornered Anthony after a show, pressuring the former radio host to partake in an improvisational exchange between Tony Soprano and Tony Danza.
Cornered.
So look, it's James Gandolfini.
He really did corner him.
What the fuck? We didn't do the fucking bit. I told you, because the bit probably wasn't gonna fucking work like it's fucking bombing right now on my fucking phone in your fucking studio.
Sorry.
Fuck you, Danger.
I'm sorry. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
I don't think you're a fucking nice guy. I think you're really a fucking fake. You're a
Get
fucking
Anthony.
This here reminds me so much, Braun, of a certain interview that happened earlier on today.
Oh, today we watched on stream.
No, the one that you were involved in. It's like clearly you didn't want to be there.
I just couldn't.
He might be watching, so
I don't do good impressions.
Yeah.
Was that Richard Ford back in the back? Somebody told me that was Richard.
Yeah. Dude, that's Richard. Yeah. That's definitely Richard Ford. But you can tell by his high hairline.
That's another great thing about this documentary. Almost everyone is in it briefly. Like, it's so great. Like, everything commingles and all the different worlds.
Yeah.
There's like the stuff that I didn't even like. I'll just put like clips in like arbitrarily, not even thinking. And then like you watch it a second time or something, it's like, oh yeah. That's that clip from this. Or I try to involve like, especially when it comes to like, people that. Because Karen, you're not aware that a lot of like the funny material that happened like in an old Discord server that we were all in, that most people were in, and that's where a lot of the Joe Matarese stuff originated. And so I try to include as many of those things, just to like there's a guy Mark _ who does the final call to Joe. Tom Daly used to do a lot of really outrageous, fucking stupid, in my opinion, really dumb, stupid shit he should probably not have done. And Stinks, he's a guy who's obviously notorious from the sub. He did the Stage It stuff with a couple of other guys in the Discord and stuff. So it was a good like little golden time on Discord where we used to get into all kinds of little mischief with mostly centered around Joe Matarese as well.
And I'm a little selfish right now because I voted for Norton on your Twitter poll as your next documentary.
Oh yeah.
I almost want you to let this one breathe selfishly, like, for a while, because, like, it's so good and has so much potential. I don't want it to get, like, run over by the next one, but I mean, that's your call totally.
It's gonna take time. It's like this one I really pushed out quickly. Like, it took me about a week in total. to get the research. It took a few days to get the research and stuff, and then it was just every day for like 8 hours straight, every day, just recording my voice through it, writing, and then finding the clips and editing it in Premiere and stuff. It was a nightmare. So like, if I do it again, I'd probably pace it out a little bit more because it was a bit of a nightmare.
Karen, you work construction?
No, I work in an office.
Oh, nice. All right, so we'll continue here.
He's a fucking asshole.
It was thanks to this relationship that Joe was able to call on Anthony to be a guest on a live iteration of his Fixing Joe podcast to be released in January 2017. Yeah. Anthony's former radio partner and comedian Jim Norton had also agreed, as did longtime friend and former Howard Stern Show co-host Artie Lang. Joe's plan was to retain the old format of Fixing Joe, encouraging the three giants of radio to help fix him.
It couldn't be harder for me, but seriously, like, my wife will yell at me if I have the phone on, where you probably would get yelled at for your phone not being on. I can't get a hold of you. Where are you?
Yeah, you get everyone get in touch with you. Now you can make calls on planes.
There was an expectation from Joe that Fixing Joe Live would be more of a long-form conversation moderated by Joe himself, but the show soon derailed.
Well, we can say one of the things I think with everybody running like fucking crazy these days is that nobody's really connecting. I know this is like fun for you guys to slam the shit out of me.
Yes.
But
it actually is. I didn't think I'd like this much.
No, but he didn't realize though that they're slamming the shit out of each other like way harder. He should have. This was the problem with him in this, is that he invited three of like the funniest guys who are 10 times funnier when they're together, and he thought like, oh, I'm gonna keep up with this. But it's like, these are like guys who are on the biggest shows in radio. Like, these are not people you can keep up with, so just enjoy it. Just kind of sit back and let him go. But he just couldn't do that. He kept having to kind of like either put them down with the you can't connect to people, or try to keep up with them, and that was tough too.
Well, Braun, another problem is that not only does Joe act the way he acts on this, but he doesn't understand, even though he's been in comedy 30 years, he doesn't understand that this is a success. Like, this is great. You know what I mean? Like, so, other people were funny, and it's at his expense, but he doesn't care about the viewer who loves this document, who loves this podcast. You know what I mean? And right. Joe deemed it not a success, and like it points out a lot of insecurities and lack of awareness on his part.
Absolutely, yeah. That's very perceptive. It's a good way to lay it down. So I'll keep going here.
I can't think of anything more fun than this evening. This is actually awesome.
It's fun, but it's very disconnected, and that's why you're single. It's I'm serious.
No, that's why I'm a comedian.
The quick wit of the other three proved too much for Joe to keep up with, and he was soon the target of a comedic onslaught from Anthony, Jim, and Artie.
Okay. I don't know what it is, but every comedian that I've met that is super fucking quick-witted, like all three of you guys, you're all single, and you have trouble in a fucking conversation.
Hold on, and every comedian...
I'm serious.
Trouble in a conversation. Wait, no.
See?
He thinks I have trouble connecting. Tell him I don't.
No, that's true.
Jimmy says.
True. And every comedian I know.
It's wrong. It's actually wrong.
Every comedian I know who's not witty and not funny is married to a doctor.
See, that's what's going to happen.
The podcast was a disaster. Joe was exposed,
slow motion
and his oversensitivity to friendly ribbing caused an online ripple that would drastically change the way he would interact with his fans forever.
No, but seriously, I think you guys can relate to when you're in some sort of situation like this with a bunch of comics, and if they're talking more than you and getting more laughs, it's a normal comedian thought to be like, fuck, I'm bombing. It's like, we get that feeling.
No one is thinking of that.
No, I know, but it's a natural thing. Like,
Joe, you're going to die amongst your grandkids. I'll die to Marriott in St. Louis.
Joe was suddenly painted with the most toxic brush in comedy. He was a comedian who couldn't laugh at himself. one who'd sooner lash out in anger and spite than show humility. For all the wrong reasons, the podcast exploded online. Jim and Anthony rediscovered their former O&A magic, competing with each other and an animated Artie Lang in hilariously jabbing at the New Jersey comedian. Joe's reaction was to stew and sulk before spitting out insults void of comedic context.
I'm not a disconnected person. Like, I know that you guys are quicker witted than me and very.
Not true.
I really think that. I know for a fact if we had to. Yes, you are, but I know from being in this business for 29 years what I might be better at than you guys.
Life. Which would be?
Well, life probably.
Yeah.
Life.
Is he doing an Opie impression?
What do you think?
We should also go through. So like, this is all just kind of like inside. Like, it's not too crazy interesting, but so I was the one that bought this and put it on Reddit.
Were you really?
Yeah, might as well say it. I don't know if you were there in SciTube that night, but as it was uploading, I put it on a stream and I decided to play it. And it was like very clear to everyone as we were watching. I'm about to pull the thread up really quick. Clear to everyone who was watching that it was like, Joe really messed this up. Like, Joe very, very clearly like just did an Opie. And so let me see if I can get this video screen on. Okay. So yeah. So we had this thread. There's something about the monologue. Let me see here. So right there.
I remember that thread. Yeah, of course you posted.
This was overnight. And it went crazy. Like, it went to the top and everything. It was big. And I posted because we all fucking knew that Joe had messed this up and had Opie'd. I was like, Opie met his match, and everyone it was like an in unison thing, almost like the trolling Anthony by supporting Opie. It was just like fucking blatant that this was an Opie moment by Joe. And that's where it really took off. I think Red Bar ended up playing one of the mirrors because I think I took it down or something. Like, they couldn't find it or something like that. And so from the start, like, it wasn't even totally like organic or whatever. It was just like instant from that night on that like Joe had clearly fucked it up. And then after that, I think Red Bar played it like the next day or something like that. Because, you know, like, there's a huge crossover between Red Bar and Joe. Or, I mean, and O&A subreddit. And so, like,
before Red Bar eventually played, I think like he had trepidations first for a while because he came from the sub and everything. But I think just a lot of his viewers just were like hounding him, saying, "No, you've got to do it." And that weekend he eventually went to it, and people were saying you got to watch it from the beginning and stuff. And it was like it ran the entire show that night ran like 7-8 hours or something. And he was like, it worked out for Red Bar because he got like a lot of like I found Red Bar through that, and I think like he definitely got a lot of the O&A guys over there. He's still like a lot of the O&A guys still don't like him there, and vice versa. But he definitely picked up a few O&A.
I subscribed for a little while. I did because of that. Like, he really was funny as hell in that episode. His MATARESE impression. I think you put it in here, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's probably coming up. So we'll keep going. But
yeah, the impression I put in this is one he did on like a recent episode where he's reviewing the poster, his new special, the poster's wrong, and Karen will probably agree as well. Like that narration he did during that was like hilarious, where he was like going fucking midget, fucking like all that shit, like vent, like he's like. You see Joe Matarese just walking up to the poster, and it's just like Mike Davis just like venting as Joe Matarese, just like all about Mike. It's very, very funny.
Yeah,
Mike's coverage of Joe is just so brilliant. It's smart and funny, and it's I love it. I mean, it's made me a Mike devotee, and it's just so brilliant.
Yeah,
it's my favorite. Sure. My favorite Red Bar thing definitely is the Joe Matarese stuff.
Dude, fixing Joe. This right now is what you should fix. The fact that you're getting resentful.
I'm not getting resentful.
Or
I'm not
uncomfortable.
resentful. No. You know
we're
how
having
no,
fun with you.
No, I know I'm not
See,
resentful.
he got
I
really
swear to God, I'm
defensive
not
there.
mad. I like that you're getting the laughs. I swear to God, I'm not.
I like that
someone-
you're getting
I'm
Someone's
not
being a cunt.
The aftermath left Joe with a PR disaster on his hands. Having spent thousands on a multiple camera shoot for the event, he was now faced with an impossible choice. Either post the show online only to be further ridiculed, or take it down and waste the money, time and effort spent organising it. To make matters worse...
Also, I gotta admit, like, I almost feel bad about this, but I knew for a fact from just the way Joe talked and the way that he acted towards the internet and, like, you know, his YouTube channel and stuff, I knew for a fact that he did not have the proper setup to be able to flag videos down. So I knew that this thing was going to be online for like at least a month before he figured out, like, oh, this is how I sign up. This is how I prove that this is my content. Like, it's kind of like mean or whatever. But also at the time, I was like kind of annoyed that I think a lot of people were that Joe was using 3 of the biggest names ever to like make all this money for himself, when it's like, man, like, just this could be huge for you. Just put it out, just make it public, use all those names to get this massive following. And then remember, he was going to go right into the next one, which was going to be I think Paul something, Mercurio, and Jim Florentine. Yeah, and it was like he could have launched a fucking big sort of little podcast thing by doing that, but he had to put it on like the pay $3 thing and all that. So I was just like, let me help you out, Joe. Like, let me just put this up. Let me let everyone see it.
It's like,
Mike,
oh, sorry, Karen, you go.
Yeah, bro. If it hadn't been you, it would have been somebody else. It's just that he, you're so right, and he had chances after the fact to repackage this and do it a different way. He could have done it with interviews and stuff like that, and he didn't because of how he came off, even though it was such an enthralling product.
Yeah, I remember he did. It took him a long time. Eventually, he put it up, and he put this little comment in this like sort of video bumper thing that said like, "Hey, I had a real bad night. Bombed so bad. Watch me bomb." Like, so he finally got it then. But it was so late. It was after the Red Bar thing. It was after the Reddit O&A thing. But if he had done that from the beginning, it would have been a hit, and he would have been fine.
But it's like Mike says in the documentary a little bit further on, how like the level of ingratitude that he has towards these 3 people who've got way many more things that they would probably rather be doing than helping out a struggling comedian on do his live podcast. Like most comedians, if you think of the live podcast that most comedians get, even like people like, you know, when Luis Gomez and Legion Skanks do live podcasts, or any of these, like any comedian does a live podcast, they would kill to have that lineup. They would kill to have Artie, Jim, and Anthony as their 3 guests. And Joe like almost felt like he was deserved of it, to the point where he was happy like personally attacking them, just because like he was the butt of the joke. It was like the level of ingratitude there it's like astounding. And that's part, like, yeah, you can attack all the sensitivities in it as well, but part of the reason why Joe came off so bad was the fact that he just ungrateful that these 3 people went out of their way to help him out for nothing. They didn't get anything for it.
Right. I'll keep going.
Joe decided to put the live show behind a paywall, only for it to be predictably bootlegged and shared online.
Don't
Since
tell
this
Joe
only
that I have
served to
this.
divert traffic away from Joe's YouTube page, he finally uploaded it, only to later disable comments and likes due to the overwhelmingly negative response.
I believe after a while,
the
I'm pretty sure he made it only able to be seen from what do you call it, audio, rather. So not able to.
Yeah,
be
no,
seen.
he has done that now. Yeah,
Yeah.
The version now is audio only, which I don't understand.
That makes no
why he's
sense.
done that for. Like,
Because Joe is a dick. Joe is a dick, like, about things like this. Like, he's a contrarian. You know, if you have a good idea or advice for him that would help him become more popular, he purposely goes the other way. He's just a contrarian.
Right.
online community, and in particular the Opie and Anthony subreddit, an online community of people who used to be known as pests. This would represent the beginning of Joe Matarese's demented relationship with internet trolls, who would continue to torment the comedian using both creative and nefarious means. However,
Can we find that
former
song?
Compound Media alumni,
Yeah, it's on his
David
channel.
of the Red Bar.
Let me see if I can find it.
He's he when he did his latest few, he uploaded everything to YouTube finally. So yeah, someone actually did a like a video cut to it as well, where he just like put like some of the best
Zanhead,
on, which is pretty good.
Zanhead,
yeah, that
did.
one.
Yeah, happy birthday, Zanhead. Hold on, I'll add it. So we're at 15:03, so I can jump right back to that spot.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, Joe Matareese, and welcome to the diss track. So I hear this hip-hop guy with the rich thinks he can roast me.
Awesome.
I told that jabroni, put your money where your mouth is, and we got ourselves a deal. Easiest $6 I've earned. Besides, I've got new...
By the way, did he contact you to could you do my intro?
Yeah. He just
That's
asked me, and
awesome.
I was like, I suggested he didn't use it because I couldn't really think of anything funny at the time, and it was not very good. I was like, dude, I've done it, but you don't use it. Your song's too good, because he sent me the song with it as well. I was like, the song's too good, you don't need it. But he put it on, so fair enough.
Nice.
New Jersey's finest on speed dial for when he trashes me. I hope you like jail, motherfucker.
Yo, it has to be so sad to be living the life of Joe Matareese with no income, no salary. Doing free shows at the Applebee's. You keep making jokes about Adderall. See the crowd not laugh at all. They came to eat, watch basketball, not to listen to this whack fat cat-ass talking. Your kids ashamed of their father's name. Do the halftime show at their soccer game. Doing stand-up comedy for pocket change. Give up the dream, Joe, stop the pain. For 30 years you doing open mics. Dumb podcast nobody likes. While your spouse make money, you a trophy wife. Don't know what's worse, you a Opie's life. Who am I kidding? It's Opie's life. Bam Margera fucked Opie's wife. Yeah, Bam Margera fucked Opie's wife. Yeah, Bam Margera fucked Opie's wife.
Hey, that weren't so bad. A real toe-tapping tune over there. Not gonna lie, I feel pretty good right now. Compared to this Opie character, things are looking up for Joe. I mean, that faggiola cooked himself for a skateboarder. You believe that? At least my wife only fucks my brain.
That's awesome.
In particular, the Opie and Anthony subreddit, an online community of people who used to be
Wigger
known
Rich
as
Karen
pests.
has done a
This
lot
would
of diss
represent the
tracks, so
beginning
Joe's
of Joe
just
Matarese's
among them.
demented relationship with internet trolls.
His
who would
Anthony
continue
Cumia one's
to
the best,
torment the
though.
comedian using
Yeah.
both creative and nefarious means. However, it was former Compound Media alumni Mike David of the Red.
Which, by the way, Wigger Rich, you guys, if you want to tweet him, tell him to come on. I have put out the word.
dude, that'd
He
be
said
amazing.
he said he's looking into it. Like he's busy, but he wants to do it, I think. So yeah, he said he'll try to come on. Yeah, so if you want to shoot him something, be like, come on to the thing, then he'll definitely come on and just talk about these diss tracks and everything.
Bar radio show, who would prove to be Joe's principal nemesis.
What is this, my poster? Let me check this out here. God damn it, Joey Mattresses.
Mike David was awarded the 4 p.m. Friday slot by
Joey
Compound
Mattresses.
Media's executive producer, Keith the Cop Maresca.
That's right, motherfuckers. Red Bar, you asked for it. You fucking asked for it. And you got
That's the worst decision he ever made.
Nonetheless, he soon found himself in hot water
That was
with a
rough.
bumbling former police
That was
officer.
really letting the line in your
Mike-
fucking garden, isn't it?
led
You
a
must have
ruthless
made
campaign.
that happen though.
He looked upset about having Red Bar on, even as he was introing it. Like, I mean,
Yeah. It looked like he had a gun to his head to say it. Like fucking Keith had some over him or something.
It was another move to just make Reddit like him, I think. Wasn't it after the Danny thing? Or no?
Yeah, because Red Bar did some good coverage on the Danny thing, and like I'm pretty sure Keith and Anthony hated it when they watched it, but they played it off as like when they hired Mike David, they played it off like he's gonna be great on the network. I mean, we don't care who goes after. I mean, he even came after us with the Danny thing, and it was funny. It was hilarious. We laughed about it and stuff. It's like, no, you didn't, because you're not laughing now, and you've never laughed since. So let's not pretend that you were in on the joke.
It was so awkward. I'm pretty sure I have a Red Bar stream that he kind of like he didn't upload or something like that. It was one of these like Ustream only. It was right after the Gavin versus him on the what was that thing? Oh, the Thanksgiving show. And he was just like, fuck Gavin, like the whole time he was like ripping on Gavin in it. And it was like from there to the that guy, I forgot his name. I forgot that guy's name. But it was just all those kind of things that just led up to like Keith was like, it's strike 2, by the way. Like, Keith, you don't give strikes to people. Like,
let's not pretend you're a strike giver.
Right.
The email you showed from Keith that's coming up, was so educational. It's so like it was so great to see like that kind of inside reporting, and it really shed light on what happened, and just painting Mike as a really like courageous like broadcaster. Do you know what I mean? Like, Like he's like this. Like this isn't mainstream radio. Like he's on some rebellious network, but he's the oddball. He's being painted as the bad boy of the rebellious network.
Right.
That's not a bad position to be in if you're Mike. Like he couldn't have lost. Like either he stays on the network and Keith has to put up with him, or he gets kicked and he's basically like a pariah, like it becomes like a martyr for like being, like you said, like a bad boy of what's supposed to be the bad boy network.
Yeah, it's a turn on, man, believe it or not, like to see that somebody's doing that in broadcasting, like especially now more than ever. It's a turn on because I'm
really turned on personally, but so
yeah, it's just wonderful to see in this era, like somebody like Mike being painted as the ultimate bad boy and sticking to his guns. Like that's what makes Mike so epic to me. Like that he's just true to himself. What he does.
I have a little bit of that. I'll play just a little bit. So I don't think Mike gives a fuck now because this was before, and I didn't even really share this thing, but this was before like all the firing and stuff. But yeah, this was sort of like a secret sort of thing. It was the Barmy, Gavin McGinnis and the Proud Boys versus Mike and the Barmy. Hold on. So we're at 1538. Okay.
I think.
Yes, of course. Before we get into that, I'd like to say hello, Gavin.
Oh, hello, Michael. Now, there is a little tension between some of the staff.
Yeah,
really?
On speaking terms.
I can't hear. I can't. Yeah, half the staff not on speaking terms, right? I don't know how this works. It seems to only be you, Mike.
No. No, of course, we love Gavin over here. We love the Proud Boys. You know what? Let's start over. Let's have a drink. Let's have a good time today. This is about family. This is about connecting.
It's about family, Thanksgiving. A lot of people are going to be at each other's throats at the dinner table tomorrow. And we just say everyone should get along. That's great. Cheers. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And done.
Gavin got really sensitive about Mike.
I don't even know what that is.
Not even a word.
One half dozen of the other.
Not even a word. Where's Bennington this
year? Yeah.
No Bennington today?
No, Ronnie B. I guess, 1 year was enough for him.
He's out getting his Kangol hat cleaned today.
And no East Side Dave.
So
either.
he ends up leaving.
With his jizz. Come down. Is it just because you weren't invited?
See, Gavin gets the little snide comment.
Gavin just stepped up my big Mike Fenoya's the waiter bit.
Wait, sock his asshole.
You did hear him say if you keep plunging a toilet long enough, something's going to come up, because I really enjoyed that.
And it's true, too. It's true. Now, Aaron, Mike, anything on this?
I love it, guys. I'm just talking to my chat to figure out a way out of this. Here.
He's telling his chat that he's about to do
to bow out of this embarrassment over here where it looks like...
Mike, I do understand, and we have a shitty Skype connection and everything, so we'll let you go. It doesn't mean anything.
No, listen.
So then he gets on his own thing.
They're all having a conversation. Then what? I'm supposed to chime in and get 7 guys to all stop what they're doing and go...
But here's what happened. From the first second, Gavin McGinnis was being a douche to you, and then at the end, when Kumia was being nice.
Hold on.
Kumia
People
was
need to
being
know
nice.
because they missed this because we were just talking about this and they missed it.
Okay, you explain.
Gavin McInnes and me are not on speaking terms right now.
So this is where, like, really
Gavin
that
is throwing a
thing
tantrum
really kicked
over our
up,
making
too.
fun of Jack Buckby. Now,
I don't think I've seen this.
You might have been there that night.
Gavin
I
a
did
second chance.
put
We
it
all know
inside,
Gavin is
too.
capable of some amazing
I never really
things,
shared
but
it
this
past that, though.
I don't.
Proud Boys movement and this alt-right nonsense has corrupted him. And everybody watching
So
me
it goes on for
knows
about an
this sounds
hour.
awesome.
I think he was quite early on with the Proud Boys stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
know like everyone on the sub probably thought it was gay immediately, but
Yeah, he wrecked the freaking Proud Boys.
I'm telling you.
Oh, Beige is in the lobby. You want to bring Beige in?
Oh, fuck yeah.
And they think
Awesome.
I'm involved with this shit.
Karen, you know Beige?
Never met, but I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
Nice.
part 4 was fucking unbelievable. By compound.
Okay, so let me so that what we just saw was a couple months after where this documentary where we're gonna pick back up, and let me get Beige in here. Yo, Beige, what's up, dude? How you been? And let me send
up,
you
Beige?
let me send you the link too. I DM'd it to you. He might not have his mic set up yet.
Yeah.
Some people are pro Proud Boys, I guess. Proud Boys are
Proud
all
Boys
right.
are all old, right? Yeah.
So we'll wait. He'll probably get his mic set up. Whenever you do, Beige, just he dropped out. Shoot, he might
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, he might be reconnecting. If you end up seeing him back in the lobby, just hit me with a tag on the chat here, something like that. I'll bring him in.
Compound Media's executive producer, Keith the Cop Maresca.
That's right, motherfuckers. Red Bar, you asked for it. You fucking asked for it. And you got it.
Nonetheless, he soon landed himself in hot water with the bumbling former police officer.
Oh, real quick. If
Yeah.
people want to see that, I highly doubt Mike's gonna. It was like a year old, and I think he's kind of proud of fucking Gavin over so hard that he got fired. So I'll give you the link, and if he really doesn't want it up, whatever, he can take it down or whatever. But it's really not much. It's not like there's anything other from There's no other Red Bar content on there. It's just that link. But yeah, that's the clip. But okay, I'll keep going.
Ruthless campaign against struggling comedian and burger enthusiast Mike Fenoyer, after his Compound
Burger
Media show
enthusiast.
Finer Things amassed a somewhat ironic following of viewers who hated it.
We talk comedy, we talk sex, relationships, sports,
Ooh.
beer, burgers,
Beer,
travel,
burger.
toys, cartoons. You name
Listen to this list of bullshit. Beers, burgers, sports, lovemaking, toys, comics, whatever you guys are into. I don't know what you're into. I don't know what I'm into.
This
annihilated Mike
resulted in the
Fenoyer.
first of 3 strikes for the Chicago.
He is the quintessential normie.
Still, Mike David
Mike
would
Fenoyer.
continue to poke fun at the flow of low to mid-level
fucking
New York
typical
comedians
boomer
who would sit in
fucking,
with Anthony Cumia.
yeah,
Mike felt
thriller
the
kinda
pitiable
guy.
quality of discussion
Right.
and entertainment
Gotta
from
get the
guests
beers,
such as
fire
Joe
up the
DeVito,
barbecue.
Jared Freed, and Joe Matarese were negatively impacting the legacy of the former SiriusXM superstar. After Joe Matarese had timidly reported Red Bar's alleged bully tactics to Keith, the Free Speech Network had heard enough. Joe Matarese will be described by Keith as part of the Compound Media family, and an ultimatum was set, one that Mike swiftly ignored before leaving the network.
Hey Mike, let's have a content discussion again tomorrow. I'm getting hits from Joe Matarese about you going after his show. Also, there is some minor stuff from Gavin. I've never had to have these discussions with anyone else, and you and I have discussed going at it with other shows on the network and friends of the network. I did kindly ask that you did not make your Compound Media shows about that stuff. That being said, let's talk tomorrow. The likelihood is this relationship might not make it to strike 3. Keith
Sorry, my
Maresca,
Discord was just crashing.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
Beige.
that's all good. Welcome, buddy. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. Sorry it took me so long. I've just been kind of busy.
Oh, that's
That's
all
okay,
good.
man.
You had a cat emergency?
No, it wasn't an emergency. He's just sick.
Aw, little kitty. But yeah, you're coming hot off that part 4. Well, yeah. So wait, how's that been going? Anything from Anthony or anything like that?
No, he hasn't sent me anything one way or another. He actually blocked me as soon as they sent him episode 1.
Oh.
I think I had no followers on Twitter, so I got immediately pizza roll.
Yeah, so he sought you out. He literally looked for who made this and was like, "Yeah, I've got to make sure that guy's not in my life anymore."
You're not so much of in obscurity anymore. You've pushed yourself into relevancy.
Yeah, me and you Beige tweeted, and I said that it's a weird reversal of fortunes that here you are coming off the back of the best part, in my opinion, of the Deep End series, and Anthony's now been cast. He's cast himself into, first of all, role playing as a 1990 Sopranos character, and second of all, going to Gab.ai, where he's constantly being abused by people role playing as his mother, and asking him why he sent her there.
That is probably the funniest thing about the whole situation, is that he's now, like you said, stuck role playing as Junior Soprano, and he can't say it's him like outright because he'll just get suspended again. So he's really completely in obscurity now. It's just he has no way of growing anything.
It's like purgatory, isn't it? It's like he can't go fully into Soprano anymore because the cat's out of the bag, and he can't go fully as Anthony anymore because he's got fucking Twitter breathing down his neck. He literally is in obscurity.
Poor
what else do you call that place he's in? It's like he can't be himself. Like he can get that Corrado account with like 200,000 followers, but that's not him. So like it's like being a fucking shadow writer for a bestseller. It's like ultimately you don't matter. You're obscure.
Right.
Yeah, I think his biggest problem is that I think he used to be able to post stuff anonymously. He'd go to, different sites that have obscene names. I think we know which ones they are.
Mania.
Read shit. Yeah, read shit anonymously, post anonymously. But I think the last few years, what happened is he got fired from Sirius. He kind of learned he was going to be like probably always overshadowed by guys like Howard Stern, and he decided he's going to make his legacy being like this political talk guy, which is the same thing he kind of mocked Mancow for a while ago. And now he's stuck in that format, and he's trying to build a legacy of some kind. And that legacy is it's just based around this angry, racist notoriety that he's built up. And it's tied to his name now. So he can't deal with being anonymous anymore.
And the problem is, like, the Anthony that we know, like, everyone who's in the chat and all that, like, the O&A fans, that Anthony that we know only has, like, a portion of us left. The other portion is, like, people who discovered him from InfoWars. Or, like, remember I saw Nick Fuentes made this tweet about, like, popular right-wing characters and figureheads who have gotten banned, and he was listed in it. So it's like he has now built this whole, like, prison around himself where, like, he can't really be O&A Anthony as much anymore because people that are subscribing to him are like, he's built that audience of those kind of people. So he's kind of like pigeonholed himself in a way, and that funny
Gavin must have put a lot as well with him.
Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, for him, like, he's already kind of put himself there.
Well, look at his book that's coming out. Permanently suspended. It's about him being persecuted by Twitter and the liberal left and all that stuff. That's what he wants to end his career on. That's the legacy he's trying to be, is be a martyr of some kind.
The funny thing is, like, this idea, like, he's really being suspended off Twitter, and it's as a real personal, like, a real personal injustice to him on a level of which, like he's tweeting in the same sentence he's tweeting, "Oh, they're going after my mom," and posing as her as a corpse on Gab and saying the worst shit imaginable. He's equating that specifically with, "Oh, and I also got banned off Twitter." It's like how is it in his mind that those are both equally bad to him. That there's not like a hierarchy of, you know what, actually, the fact my mom's dead and the fact that I didn't go to see her for 5 years and I basically abandoned her in the years she needs me.
Which he
that
admitted.
for me is as big an injustice as maybe, I don't know, getting banned off Twitter. It's like this man has got his priorities is totally out of whack.
Yeah, you know what really, really ticked him off? The thing that made him do the $5,000 bounty on closing down Reddit.
Yeah,
was
the
one of the
dancing there.
funniest. Yeah, it was one of the funniest fucking Reddit posts I had ever seen. It was like, guys, I went and I got video footage of Anthony's family's funeral for his mom, and then when you click it, it was like a bunch of like African tribal people like doing one of those line dances where like they're all in a row doing like the dance with the headdresses and stuff. It was just fucking funny. It's like, come on, how can you not laugh at that? That's funny.
And it was stupid. It wasn't even like that effect. It was just stupid. Like the joke in it is like just dumb. It's like, how does that make you want to declare war on a subreddit and offer money to take it down? Like, what the fuck is he thinking?
Actually, I forgot. It was also the guest book. But nobody, people were like, they only did Chip and stuff. They just put like Chip things and Uncle Paul and all them. Like, they didn't do anything like really like vicious. So he got mad at that.
Yeah, and then like ironically, today he's posting something mocking Fat Joker, Ronin 23, who's dead now. So like, where's the line with making fun of dead people? Is it only wrong to insult a living person by mocking their dead relative? Is that the line?
Well, it's exactly the same thing as what he tweeted. This was really strange because he tweeted after he got suspended, and he's using this Corrado Junior Soprano account. He tweeted Michelle Wolf obviously got her show cancelled off Netflix, and he retweeted that and said to 10 people care about this or something. Like it was obviously like poking fun at her and saying, yeah, ha ha ha, you got these shit cancelled and no one cares. And in the same breath he's doing that, he wants people to care that he's being targeted by Twitter. And he doesn't see the irony or the hypocrisy there. He doesn't see how that's insane.
Yeah, somebody also said, or Bone CK said, he pretty much spit on the grave of Killa Coon's kid. He did do that too. Like, he's and this is only recent too. Anthony's been able to laugh at himself for a long time. It's all like stuff that's kind of recent.
I think it's like what Beige says this in the documentary, where he's able to laugh at himself closed in his own safe space, where it's like a comedy table, where it's, it's in the O&A studios or anything. He's able to do it in that sort of environment. The minute it gets taken outside of that, and where there's no limits, then Anthony has problems.
There is that one clip where, and I can throw it on, it's like a minute long, but Anthony just hangs up really fast on one of the guys that was from the website, I think ftbfba.org, which stood for fuck the bag and fullblownaids.org, which was like it was like Reddit before Reddit was Reddit, and I think it's still actually around. It's like super old school O&A stuff. Yeah, ftfba.org. They would just rip on. Yeah, you've seen that?
I went there and I was doing research for part 3, and like literally got like 10. There's viruses on this website warning.
Oh,
like, I don't think it's a great place to go anymore.
Oh, are you sure that wasn't the Struff one? Struff Rundowns?
You know what? It might be. It might be confusing them, because I think he operated both sites, didn't he?
He didn't. He might. Oh, you could be right. Like, Struff might have operated both. Yeah, you could be right about that. But yeah, he had a little bit of a history with that. Like, you're kind of right about like the hanging out, or not being able to take it outside the safe space rather.
Yeah, I think what it is when he's with like other comedians, he knows it's not a personal thing. There's no real attempt to harm his image or anything. But when it's somebody else, I think he takes it more personally, because he knows it's not like in that joking atmosphere of the show or his podcast or whatever. I think he sees the tweets and the Reddit posts as just genuine personal attacks against him.
That call
it's just
to
a joke.
Yeah. That call.
Here's
by
the
the
thing.
way. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
all I was going to say was I've sent him and Keith and all the other associated accounts. I said, hey, if you want to mock my videos, go ahead. I don't mind. I mean, they're just YouTube videos. I'm not. This isn't like some kind of Machiavellian scheme where I'm trying to destroy Anthony Cumia and leave his drawn and quartered body in the town square. I'm just making YouTube videos, and he's got a platform with a bunch of people. He's got a media network. He's got a Twitter page. He's got all this stuff. Just tear my videos apart. I mean, they're just YouTube videos. Just mock them on your show. You did that for like a solid 10 years on the radio, just mocking all kinds of crap. Just do it. It's not a big deal.
Right.
And also why is he celebrated the Who Are These Podcast guys for what they did can be equated to similar to what you've done, Beige, although they've done it in a podcast format, not in necessarily a documentary kind of thing. But the aim is still the same. They went through Opie's show. They went through it with fine tooth comb and commented on every little part of his personality and all of his defects and stuff. Anthony couldn't get enough of that. He had the guy on his fucking show, and yeah, so like, again, like, why would he treat that with the level of reverence, and then something like what you're doing with an immediate block and all that? And it's simply because cherry picking the target. And if he gets into the fucking rays of the target, then yeah, he can't take jokes, he can't take criticisms, he can't deal with that shit.
I've tried to analyze it. I can't come up with a good reason. I think he's just, like I said, I think he's just really sensitive when he assumes it's some kind of personal attack and that it's actually affecting his legacy instead of some kind of thing that's a joke on the show, like him joking about being attracted to 9-year-olds. You know, that's like, he could pass it off as it's not real, but when it's something that might be real and could actually have some kind of genuine effect on him, then it's much more serious and he has no tolerance for it. That's about all I can think of, though.
Yeah, that's the one thing on your documentary that it's really kind of almost uncomfortable to watch. Is like, we've all heard the stories of, like, you know, the Sue Lining stuff and the you know, all the other stuff, fucking the Fine Girl stuff and self-cutting girl and stuff. When they're isolated and you're just talking about any specific event, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's bad, but like the minute you put them all back to back with the level of research that you did into it, dude, it plays out like a serial killer documentary. It was fucking chilling. It was really like, Jesus, this guy's a really dastardly man. This is a terrible person. I would not enjoy seeing that if I was Anthony.
I found that thing, and then we can get back into it. But so like, this is an example of Anthony like hating the people that post on boards from like 2008ish. Real quick, I'll play it. And it's not on YouTube, but for some reason, but I have it in one of the archives.
Hey, can I plug something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's one other guy that does show recaps. Struff does daily show recaps on FBA.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mongo. By the way, you got to
That.
What? What happened?
Nothing. What's the matter? I don't plug that site, so I dumped it.
All right. 877-212-0-A. Why? What happened? I don't get what happened.
It's okay. If something happens, sometimes it just happens, and I'll like let you know about it. But he gave a little plug. It's a site we all agreed sucks, and it isn't plugged on this program. So I hit the dump button. Is there a problem?
Huh?
Is there a problem?
Obviously not.
Well, Jesus.
Is there? I just want to know.
Obviously no problems whatsoever.
But then you make a face. Let me know if there's a problem that I dump out of...
Explain. I don't know what happened. The guy plugged the website.
Yeah, he plugged a website that we've all talked about, does nothing but bash us personally and the program, and we said how we weren't going to plug it. Why would we use our show to plug a bash site? So when he brought up the name of the site, I leaned over and hit the dump button.
He was saying something positive. That's all I heard.
He said something positive, and then he plugged a site that we don't like.
All right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What a faggot.
Discussions with anyone else. And
They're really all very sensitive and very hypocritical, because Anthony would, talk about that same sort of behavior with Opie, being very, very frustrating to work with and getting agitated very easily by negative comments or just looks or, phrases somebody would say, just getting really upset and being pissed off about it. But you see the same thing. You see it with Jim too, with like the DL Hewley thing. It's just they're all like exactly the same, but just have slightly different takes on the same level of like narcissism and sensitivity. But they're all very similar in that respect.
Right. All right, so we'll get back in. So where we left off was Red Bar is going after Mike Fanoia and then starts to go after Gavin. And this is the email Keith writes to him to basically say, like, listen, buddy, like, this is strike 2. Hopefully we don't make it to strike 3, but I have a feeling the relationship isn't going to make it anyway, so.
Don't make strike 3. You're going to regret it.
And you and I have discussed going at it with other shows on the network and friends of the network. I did kindly ask that you did not make your Compound Media shows about that stuff. That being said, let's talk tomorrow. The likelihood is this relationship might not make it to strike 3. Keith Maresca, Executive Producer, Program Director.
After witnessing his sensitivity being teased, Mike David would continue to keep an eye on Joe Matarese, and his patience was soon rewarded when viewers of the Red Bar radio show encouraged Mike to cover Fixing Joe live.
Whoa. Wait. Shut up, Artie, because something's up.
No, but I feel like the world we're in now, that everybody's like a little fucking disconnected. No one has a real conversation. This doesn't feel like a real conversation.
This is how you wanted to have
Yes, now I see why you had to watch it from the beginning.
In a stream stretching to 8 hours in length, Mike replayed the event play by play, and a fool was born.
Are you guys enjoying the show?
Do you
That's
want
as
Joe
connected as you
on?
can be to an audience.
What do you think? Should Anthony take Joe's place? Yeah! Get out of here, you faggot, beard, fag!
Joe's hypersensitivity, inability
A
to
little
read
much.
the room, and overall lack of self-deprecation were sources of huge enjoyment for the Red Bar audience as they continued to break down every nuance of Joe Matarese's character.
Okay. I think I don't know what it is, but every comedian that I've met that is super fucking quick-witted, like all three of you guys, they're all single, and you have trouble in a fucking conversation.
Oh my God! Why is he attacking them? They're nothing but gracious guests. I mean, why would they do his show? I mean, he should be so thankful. He's got these legends.
This viewing would create the foundation of Joe's all-out warfare with Mike David.
He's in a bad spot. He needs to go down. He needs to be done. We're taking him down.
As the now infamous Fixing Joe live video circulated, so did the negative attention received by the 100% Italian comedian. And it wasn't only Red Bar who would discuss the event with...
Somebody asked, Triple Crown asked, is that Red Bar guy a stand-up? He used to do stand-up, and he also owned a comedy club for a little while, and then, like, broke off from that, and he ended up, oh, so maybe he still does stand-up? Oh.
He dealt a lot with Kamal and whatever his fucking name is. Ninjali or whatever it is. Oh,
really?
Sven's in the chat. What's up, Sven?
Oh, yeah, Sven.
I don't think he did stand-up.
Well, all right. Well, he was involved in comedy clubs.
Yeah, he developed a scene in Chicago, and then had his club stolen from him. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know that he's never tried it, but that wasn't his thing.
Okay.
With SiriusXM's Jim and Sam show.
He's like one of those guys that I just have no knowledge of, like at all. Somehow he's just escaped any understanding I have of him, despite being kind of related to all these guys. He's like a ghost to me. I can't place him.
He's really like very like broken off into his or I forgot what it's called. It was the Barman. I think he switched it at this point. I think it's Scars Club. Yeah, Scars Club. He's very like for them. Like if you want to like get into him and all that, you basically got to join that because his content's over there.
He does. He's got a show coming up tomorrow evening. And so he does stream to the redbarradio.net live for free. So you can jump on a stream then. But
nice.
Obviously you join up and you get all access to all the backlog and shit.
I'll try to check him out. I'm trying to work through like watching some Cumtown stuff too as well, getting into that. So
yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, one thing I really like him. I think he's very divisive. I think especially like in the subreddit, I think there's some things that have happened historically that have driven people into corners and stuff. But if you don't pay attention to any of that sort of gay shit, then yeah, you can watch him. Like I'm not on board with all the people that he talks about. Some people I don't really know, but when he talks about like MATARESE or Patrick Melton or people like that, then it's really funny, especially because he's got personal relationships or like histories with these people. It just adds that extra bit of spice and realism to this like beef and to this fucking like unraveling of this idiot. It's really funny.
One of the best ones that he does that like a lot of people don't see or anything is like there's this guy named like Wally or like Poppy or something like that, and he does this fucking like David Letterman show in his living room, and his wife like produces it for him. It's like really like it's rough. It's like a little kid playing, pretending to be David Letterman, but he's like a full-grown adult, and he just rips on that guy a lot. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, Othie. I don't know his last name, but the guy's name is Othie.
Yeah, right, but different Othie. Othie. Oh, okay, Othie swearing. Yeah, that one. If you do join or whatever for a bit and just look at it, go find the Othie ones because they were funny. But I'll keep going. Karen, how you doing over there? What do you think of this so far?
I'm doing really good. Beige, how are you? Nice to talk with you.
Nice to speak to you too, Karen. How you doing? I'm doing fine.
All right, we'll keep going.
Show featuring prop comic Jim Norton and Balding Fund intern Sam Roberts, inviting Joe to discuss the aftermath.
Every fucking time.
But what I should have done is made it free right away, and then you're not going to get these miscommunications.
Can I say something here, Ron?
Yeah. Anytime you want to talk, Karen, just go right into it, and we'll pause. We'll pause for you.
This appearance by Joe crystallizes one of the biggest problems he has, which is that on talk shows, he's alarmingly boring. And it's illustrated here, and it's illustrated in the A&A segment later in the documentary. He can't hang, and he doesn't know how to just kick it on a show. Like, he comes off really square here, really just not with it, not hip, not funny,
Yeah. Very wound up and uptight.
Play it straight,
Right. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like he doesn't try to be funny on them. He goes on, he'll tell his story and stuff, but he doesn't make those attempts to be funny.
Not that he has to come on and do shtick, but it's like he's not interesting. He never looks inward and says like, this has gotten crazy. He's very clinical. It's like very boring.
Yeah, I hear you.
We're like, that was the first miscommunication. This guy's trying to make money off of Jim Norton and Artie Lang and Anthony Cumia's names.
Following weeks of adverse feedback, Joe uninstalled Twitter from his phone. As one of many online platforms he blamed for facilitating his anger, Joe continued to evade any sort of personal responsibility.
I was like learning. I was like, like this is good. It made me take Twitter off my phone. Okay, now I can't tweet while driving. You're like, right. All of a sudden, you're like, holy shit! I just had a conversation with a person. This is crazy. Yeah. You just were slowly, so
it's improved your life.
I'll be honest. I downloaded the Twitter app on the subway.
It's hard to start again.
It's hard. In the 56-minute interview, Joe expressed his misunderstandings of internet trolling and seemed adamant that he had learned from the experience.
One one interaction back that sounds like
I see.
And then they're like, we got him. And when I read someone write, we got him on the hook, that locked in my brain. I'm like, I see the game now.
Yeah.
Oh, they got me on the hook. It was like they just went click. You know when you catch a fish, that feeling? You're like, ah. And they were just like, we got him. And then I went the other way in my head. I'm like, no, you actually just lost me.
Jim and Sam would spend the duration of the show enlightening Joe to internet subculture, and in particular to the art of dealing with internet trolls.
It's part of it is part of the fun for them is like it is fun just to fuck around. Like there's a part of it where they're being dicks, and then there's a part of it where like it is just entertaining to like, you know what I mean? Like where they're just throwing a beating at somebody, and then the high is not what the right and wrong is, because who gives a shit? It's just fun to be bashing this thing.
The live event itself was also covered, with Jim Norton offering somewhat condescending advice to Joe,
That dummy has never
comical
caught a
abuse
fish in the chat. Sorry, I didn't mean to. John's fucking comment. That dummy has never caught a fish. I just love that as well. Like he's like,
think you got me, motherfucker? Well, I got you.
It's like so fucking stupid.
And not to harp on Anthony too much, but shouldn't he understand that? Like, look at his Twitter right now. He's tagging everybody about Michelle Wolf, and he's tagging all the liberals and stuff, and he's ripping on them. Like, shouldn't he kind of get it? Or it's like it's all the people that you hate so much. That's just what they're doing. The same thing.
I can imagine when your back's against the wall and you're just fending off trolls left. You can't think straight. I can only imagine that's what. Unless it is just these specific two people, or it's something to do with Italian Americans that love Sopranos or something. I don't know, but like. It is that they're both exactly the same in that sense, and it must be. I think it might be the fact that you get so much in your head when it's like your back's against the wall, and just everybody's hitting you with everything in your personal life, and you can't just get up for a breath of air. You can't just get up out of the water and just go, okay, let's analyze my situation in a bit more of a logistical sense. I can understand if that's the case. I can kind of understand it a little bit, but I don't know. I think these are two very special people.
Well, I think of it as, why are you getting so upset about people trolling you on the internet? I mean, what are they doing? They're just sending you mean tweets or mean comments. Like, they're not like stealing your bank account information. You know, it's just words on the internet. My first video of the Anthony Cumia's Demented World has like 400 dislikes on it to like 800 likes. It's like a 2-to-1 ratio. And there's a shitload of comments on there that are just calling me like a soy boy, a cuck, saying I'm being paid by Opie, I'm a liberal,
paid by Opie.
Whatever it does. But it's like they're just saying mean things on the internet. Either I read them and I laugh because they're funny, or just don't read them. They're just comments. It's like that meme about cyberbullying. Just turn the computer off.
Right.
Another thing that about a quote unquote troll, like. That to me is a comedy fan, and it's the responsibility of the subject to like turn that, for lack of a better term, hater into like a fan, or just understand that person's really, really into you or fascinated by you, not to be like the troll's the enemy. Like if I, like sometimes I get trolled, but I'm like, somewhere along the line, I'm connecting with that person. It's just not going smoothly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to reestablish the rapport with them, and you can either go along with them to where they want to go, which is not going to be bad for you, or you can try and reassess it and readdress the dynamic and try and actually surprise them a little bit. Like the worst thing trolls don't like is for their bit to just die, and the best way to do that, it happened with us with the JRT thing, Braun, where the minute JRT stopped going on Periscope, the thing died, and we lost any kind of enthusiasm about any of that stuff, and it just killed us dead. Like it's just the trouble is with the people that get trolled, they're very, very easy to manipulate, and they basically they hold the hands of the trolls and go exactly where the trolls want them to go to, and it happens every single time.
Right, absolutely.
And there's also like usually an escalation. There's a quote from, this is going to be a weird reference, but fuck, now I forgot his name. MMA guy, a Dutch guy, friends with Joe Rogan. I forget his name. But he says, if you're in a bad situation, you're in a losing situation, You never escalate the level of violence. So if you go to poke somebody in the eyes and they're on top of you, they have all the leverage to poke you in the eyes even harder, or bite you, or do whatever you're going to do to get out of the situation.
Right.
Guys like Anthony, Joe Matarese, they escalate the level of trolling. They if it's just jokes, they then start taking it to the next level of making it personal or threatening to dox people, and that ups the level of nastiness they're receiving. So if Anthony never trolled somebody, I mean, if Anthony never tried to dox one of the trolls, he probably would have never had people saying shit about his dead mom or, you know, any of that.
Totally. Oh, that's where it all started. That's where it was. That Panera video was like they were ripping on him for the Danny thing for a while, and it wasn't too bad. But the Panera video, it was Sue Lightning, the Vine likes, everything just fell after that. Like people that fucking Banks went and crawled through his stuff, like just pure autism, and found all these references. Melissa Stetton, that whole story was known for a very long time. And it all came out and was like top of the Reddit shit going all around Twitter and everything after all this. Because people were looking through. I mean, they already knew Self-Cutting Girl. But that's when it was like, that's when it just like resurrected itself.
Boss Rutan was the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah, Sven just posted that name in the chat.
All right, so I'll continue. So we're at the part where Joe goes on Jim and Sam to try to do some damage control and explain what happened that night on the Fixing Joe episode.
From other comedians.
I didn't even occur to me. Like, I looked at you as just a part of the process. Like, you were one of us. I didn't look at it like you were separate until it looked like you got uncomfortable at one point. I thought you got uncomfortable at one point, but I didn't think, oh man, we're killing Joe. I felt like this is his thing and we're all having a good, like, I really saw you as part of it.
Joe would idiotically suggest that he had now figured out a more developed and considered approach to being abused online, although his increasing dependency on antidepressants would suggest otherwise.
Once you realize it's a game, it's funny. And it's funny, and it doesn't hurt anymore, no matter what you do.
I think it hurts, Joe.
Like I said, yeah, and then it's just,
it hurts.
Okay, how long do you want to?
You
want to just keep
doesn't
talking
hurt,
about
it
this
probably
forever?
hurts.
I'm like, I'm really not going to engage with you.
The situation was further discussed on the Anthony Cumia show, with Joe's antipathy to comedy roasting the subject.
Fucking Joe Matarese, look, I love Joe Matarese, but I could give a fuck if anyone shits on Joe Matarese. Joe Matarese, Joe Matarese. I'll shit on Joe Matarese. I don't care.
It's such a cheap
This fucking network doesn't live or die by Joe Matarese.
Joe's unpredictably volatile response to being targeted inevitably attracted the darker elements of both the Opie and Anthony subreddit and the Red Bar Radio community. Users began contacting comedy club owners and bookers using fake Joe Matarese alt accounts on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. In this exchange, Helium Comedy Club owner Mark Grossman accepts a request to reschedule
Joe emailed me
numerous
asking
gigs
if
in
I was
May.
this guy, by the way. It's a guy called oh fuck, I forget the name, but yeah, he was like, apparently like people in the Bring Back group got like orchestrated and told Joe that I was the one cancelling all of his gigs.
Oh fuck!
I just got this like maniacal email from him one day, just like asking if I was the one doing it.
Did you post that one?
It's in, yeah, it's on the, I didn't put it in the documentary, but it's on the subreddit somewhere.
Oh, awesome. I'll put it on screen, but we don't have, we can just keep going with it. Here we go.
I just want to say the
Similar
music is impeccable.
Yeah, bam, bum, bum, bum. Like the brooding music.
Yeah.
Accounts were used to post explicit material, such as this tweet from a cleverly misspelt Joe Matarese handle. Elsewhere, Joe
Thomas
Matarese became
Daly.
something of a meme, with users
That
from
was
the
all
Opie and
Thomas
Anthony
Daly.
subreddit raiding Periscope streams and
R.I.P.
impersonating Joe, often with racist undertones.
I remember her.
Hello?
Oh yeah. Thomas Daly also.
Here. I just wanted to say I hate niggers. Man, shut your dumb ass up. You said
That whole
what?
clip's like
In
10
one
minutes
particular
long.
Periscope.
And by the way, that night with that guy probably was at least a half an hour of
Yeah,
straight repeated calls till he just got off the air.
It was Super Mario ringtone. And you just know it's Tom Daly.
That's right. That was funny.
That was hilarious.
Scope Raid, former Craig Ferguson co-host Josh Robert Thompson spent over 5 hours batting away an unconvincing Joe Matarese impersonator
So
during
we
an
gotta
attempted
play the
radio
4 minute
pilot.
33 second.
Hello, you're on the air.
We gotta play it.
Please,
Josh, I'm begging you. $10 I'll roast.
All right. Hello, you're on the air.
$5, Josh, I'll roast you.
All right, $5. You can tickle my balls. I'll stick it in for a minute. Hello, you're on the air.
All right, I'll do it for free. Don't tell my
All right, I'll do it for free. Don't tell my wife. Hey, Josh, it's Joe Matarese. How you doing?
Well, you guys win. Okay, is that like what's the end? What's the end game? Like you don't want me to do shows anymore? Do you want me to go away? Is that why you do it? Is that why you guys do this? Like the guy's been doing it for 5 fucking hours.
Meanwhile, New York veteran comedian Nick DiPaolo spent an entire show with Joe Matarese in studio, taking calls such as this one from a swarm of former Opie and Anthony pests.
It's all the same sort of shit. The same.
Now, the JRT thing, I have played it before on here. Somebody, I think Zan had sent it to me. I ended up taking it down or got community striked or whatever like that. I can't remember. Like it's been so long, like he doesn't have any connection to this. But it's hard for me to find, but wow, like that one.
I've got the audio for the explosion, you know, the smashing his keyboard. This is the wrong time to fuck with all that kind of shit.
Would you be able to play it?
I could upload it to SoundCloud right now as you carry on going through this, definitely.
Okay, that works. Because that is so worth playing. I've played it before a long time ago, but we might as well throw it on.
Same sort of character that's overplayed that, quite frankly...
Oh, it's still on SNN? Let me see.
A lot of it's on SNN, but that specific, you know, the long of where he's just listening for a while, smacks his keyboard, and then starts yelling, I'm going to sue you, or this is the wrong time to fuck with me, and I hope you like getting raped in the ass in jail, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Right, I've got it right here.
Nice. Okay. So we'll throw that on in a second. It is completely worth it. If you think the Mel Gibson, like the hot tub rant is good, like this just tops it by far.
Yeah.
Maybe Mel Gibson, obviously, it's a little more iconic. But as far as like meltdowns and angry, like flipping out goes, absolutely like one of the best.
It requires a bit of context because it's easy to think that this is just a reaction to like people fucking with his show that particular night, but it was more to do with the bit that Mark _ had involvement in when he had a call with Josh Robert Thompson after he did the show, where Josh Robert Thompson started talking about like how his girlfriend is like dying and shit, and like how he's going through some bad shit and stuff, and then Mark decided, you know what, I'm just going to record this call and then upload it, and then the next day, the audio that will play is the next day, and the next day, like, this is Josh Robert Thompson. He's just like looking online, and then he discovers it that minute that it's on SNN, and you just hear the moment that he realizes that we've put audio up there that he does not want up there.
It also should be noted that this was started sometime around maybe like 6:37 p.m. and this clip that will play had to be sometime around like 1:32, and it was just straight repeated call-ins to his like little Periscope radio show thing. Like it was fucking. We could play some of the build up. I'll play a little bit of the build up just because it's sort of tied in. Oh wait, did we? No, there's two clips. One of them is the Josh Robert Thompson, all the build up and everything. The other one is the Porsalin doing the MATARESE, but they happened on the same night.
Yeah. The way that was cut up, the one of them is like some of your calls and a lot of Mark's calls, and I think Dummy's sprinkled in there, and that's like the Gilgorian sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think there's other things on there, like some people doing like Edgar and fucking Chip and shit.
Hello,
but yeah.
And it was all pinned on Brian Gilgore. Poor Brian.
Yeah, dude,
play a little bit of it.
Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, me?
Oh, you'll recognize this person.
You're here.
Oh, I can hear myself. First of all, I'm not on the air. I'm on your fucking webcam show on the internet.
No.
But, second of all, I know who's coming after me.
He goes after that. He goes, oh. He's so mad. He's like, oh, you.
Yup, he's holding on to it because he'll bring it back up.
It's a group. It's like an insurgent group of Opie and Anthony people. It's run by a guy named Brian Gilgore.
Okay.
He runs a weekly podcast, kind of Bill Burr-style rants.
Okay.
And he gets people to do this to everyone. So, you know.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. Are you part of that group?
No, I just spy on, because they do this to everybody.
Right, but because you made a really strange comment at the very beginning of your appearance here. You said, first of all, I'm not on the air. This is your little... What was that all about?
Well, it's not a strange comment. That's just true.
What was that all about, though? What was the need to say that for?
Well, I mean, you're saying welcome to the air, whatever to people.
Yeah, why can't I?
Fucking Periscope.
Why can't I say that? You're going out. You're going out into the air. Well, who the do you even fucking know who I am? You don't even fucking know who I am, do you? Let me tell you something.
You're a guy on Periscope.
No, you don't fucking know who I am at all. Go fucking Google it, motherfucker, and tell your little cocksuckers to go fuck themselves. All right, and then come back when you're done. 213-261-7443. You believe that shit? That's all I could focus on was that passive-aggressive fucking comment. Brian Gilgore podcast. Look at this fucking tool bag.
He looks up Brian.
You got
and
your
by the
own
way,
podcast,
guys,
do
Brian
you, buddy?
wasn't
All right.
here that night.
Well,
He
fuck
barely
you,
ever
Brian
came into
Gilgore.
Discord.
And if you got any fucking
This
balls,
also, the
what?
next day, this led to Brian Gilgore receiving a DM from someone claiming to be Josh Robert Thompson's manager/lawyer, threatening to sue and giving a cease and desist if this was ever played on Brian's podcast.
I've just sent a DM message on Discord for a DM message. What the fuck am I at? 80? Yeah, the JRT audio SoundCloud.
Okay, so yeah, we'll skip through a little bit more of this, and then we'll just go right to it. Because see, it's 22 minutes. You got to remember, this is 22 minutes. The other one's 14 minutes, and those are all calls cut together over like the span of like 6 hours. So you'll see how it ends in a moment. And we have other audio, but that I don't think can be played due to California wiretapping laws. But
why don't you have me on your fucking show?
he's going off on Brian Gilgore right now. Brian was not involved in this at all.
Fucking show. Let's take a listen to one of these. Let's take a listen to this show.
I just turned my Zoom H1 recorder on. H1N recorder on. No, it's just H1. Okay, this is not interesting. And it didn't work the first time. The SD card wouldn't read, and I'm a little scared. I hope this.
It's pretty good.
Ripping on someone's podcast.
I get it now.
Doesn't even know who's sleeping right now.
I get it now.
All right, 213. Yeah, it sounds exactly like the guy that just fucking called in. So nice to talk to you, Brian. By the way, next time you call in as not yourself, maybe try not to be a fucking asshole right out of the gate. You know, because that was the tip off, I think. Also, you're not on the air either because you're doing a fucking podcast and you can't even operate your H1.
He's so pissed at that comment.
213-261-7443. Call the number now.
No, see, Triple Con, what happened is near the end of the thing, Mark _ called. He was one of the last calls near the end of the night. And he goes on and he says to him another troll thing. And he goes, that's it. Like JRT goes, that's it. Like hits the Periscope pause thing and then goes over to the phone to talk to Mark _ and starts yelling at him and freaking out. So Mark _ was like, oh fuck, like we gotta get this. And I'm still recording, like I was still running the OBS recording it. So he brings it over and now like this is kind of a private call because it's not on Periscope anymore. So he brings it over and he's like doing the speakerphone and like we're all listening to it. And then, you know, like, we put it all up on YouTube because it was just for fun, like, fucking around. Then, at that point, that leads into this, and I'll just play it now, and then we'll go back into this thing. So that when he discovered that part was on YouTube, this is what happens.
Damn it.
You just hear keyboards.
You're fucking done, you Nazi fuck. You fucking piece of shit. You fucking posted that audio without my fucking consent. I fucking told you, motherfucker. I fucking told you. I fucking warned you. I fucking spoke to you off the air, you fucking piece of shit. And you took personal information from my life and you posted it on fucking YouTube, and I fucking asked you not to, motherfucker. Now, if you want to fucking solve this, you little bitch, fucking call me. Fucking call me, motherfucker. Because you don't have a fucking leg to stand on. You are fucking done. You are fucking done. You are fucking done, you fucking cocksucker. You are fucking done. It's over for you, you shithead. I hope you enjoy getting raped in the ass in fucking prison, you cocksucker. You fucked up, asshole. You goddamn right I'd knock you in your fucking head because I fucking told you personal information off the fucking air. I don't give a shit about the rest of the stuff, but I fucking told you, you cocksucker. I fucking told you off the air. Do not post that shit that we talked about. I fucking told you! You are done! This was the wrong time to fuck with me! You fucking asshole! You fucking piece of shit! I will fucking destroy you! I will destroy you! Fuck you, you fucking fat fucking cocksucker! You are dead! You are fucking dead! You are fucking done! Good luck, you fucking prick! Good luck!
He lost it there for a minute.
He just defaulted to madness.
Right, like just complete rage, bloodlust.
I'm gonna fucking sue you, you little fucking asshole. I fucking told you personal information, and you fucking posted it, and I fucking told you not to! You are done!
And then he cut off the Periscope, cut off there. Oh, it was beautiful. It was
What's great about that is like how it builds, and you can tell the louder his voice gets, you're about to get him just screaming incoherently.
Yup. It was like about the fifth I fucking told you, and then it just boom. That was it.
I fucking told you personal information. I fucking told you and you posted it.
Yup. Oh.
It's like the drop in like a metal song.
It is like, yeah, like, or like an EDM song, like dun 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 dun, and it builds up to boom dun dun with the bass and stuff.
It's like, let the bodies hit the floor.
Fucking Harlem Shake.
It is the Harlem Shake of Periscope meltdowns.
I want someone to edit that together, just Harlem Shake, and then just the drop is just him going, I fucking.
So anyway, that's a little bit of that JRT stuff, because just that one rant is like, it's so fun to listen to. So it kind of was a little off topic, but we'll get back to Joe here. We're about halfway through, and we'll probably like let it play out a little bit so we can get through. And you know, if anyone,
how wasn't that freak out a meme? How has that not
I
become
know.
like a mainstream meme? It's crazy. It's amazing.
I know, it's just buried in this little corner of the internet. People on Reddit all know about it, but it's just never made it. It's just for us. But anyway, so we'll keep going here. Actually, Porsalin, let me give you a leader for a couple minutes. I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'll be right back. Oh, if you just want... Oh, hang on.
I'm doing it for 5 fucking hours.
Meanwhile, New York veteran comedian Nick DiPaolo spent an entire show with Joe Matarese in studio, taking calls such as this one from a swarm of former Opie and Anthony pests.
It's all the same sort of shit. The same sort of character that's overplayed that, quite frankly, hasn't gotten you anywhere, and yet you embrace.
But Corey, let me interject. But he's drawing from his life. What should he become, a cross-dresser to change it up? Should he invent a
I'll
character?
answer that question. He should be more interesting. He should stop getting fucking high all day and think people are going to care.
See, that's what these guys always say.
Okay, if Artie Lang is going out and getting heroin, that's a story he can tell about winding up in a hotel room with some fucking prostitute. Joe gets a prescription from his wife, goes to CVS, fills it, goes home, pops pills, and what? Lays around all day? It's not interesting. Am I wrong, Nick? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I fucking... he's a good comic.
Despite Joe's insistence that he had learned his lesson, his misuse of Twitter continued to plague the middle-aged road comic. Not only was Joe spotted responding to his own tweets with sycophantic compliments, only to later pass it off as sarcasm, he would also be drawn into futile arguments about his income, claiming to earn over $80,000 on stand-up alone a year. His all-out war with the haters had also bizarrely expanded to delusional claims about successful pitch meetings, before a rather strange period of Joe's Twitter activity saw him plug gigs in the third person, creating the illusion of an assistant in his employ. However, it was an off-the-grid Red Bar fan who elicited the most insane of Joe's Twitter reactions. According to an email from a comedy club owner hosting Joe Matarese, a Twitter user with the alias Woodward of AZ had threatened Joe, stating how the comedian would need security. He further claimed that Joe had called a black female comedian hosting the event the N-word, sullying Joe's otherwise tolerant reputation. Joe's response was to tweet to his followers his intention to involve the authorities, claiming he was documenting everything and collecting evidence using screenshots. At 2 PM that day, an exasperated Joe announced he will also be leaving social media for good. An arbitrary deadline of 10 PM that evening was set as Joe tweeted his goodbye. After a short period of using the platform solely to plug gigs and material, Joe buckled. As big a factor as Joe's response to trolls was in making him a target for online abuse, Joe's naivety was equally pivotal in feeding the entertained mass. Perhaps the best example of this occurred during his attempts to utilize the video platform StageIt, a place where creators could sell tickets directly to viewers for access of their live streams. Joe had sold just a handful of tickets for a show in which he would take calls and interact with the audience in a more closed environment, free of trolls. In yet another turn for the worst for Joe, technical difficulties prevented the stream from broadcasting. Members from an Opie and Anthony Discord channel saw the disaster unfold as a popular O&A subredditor known by the name Stinks restreamed it to his YouTube channel, aptly named Stinks News Network.
I know I could do it on my phone.
But why are you YouTube streaming it?
Okay, I'm back.
So we can enjoy.
We're just at the StageIt shit.
No, it's been live.
Oh, beloved Stinks.
I'm on it, and I didn't have to pay anything.
The show hasn't
started.
yet.
Oh, but so when it's on,
show lately.
So when it's on,
Living
they're
up to
gonna
his
ask me
name,
for a
real
credit
big
card?
dummy there.
Yeah.
Using his own phone number for fans to call in on, Joe received a flurry of calls from the Discord group claiming to be StageIt.
Look at how you just see Rooster and horses.
Yeah, right.
That got locked out.
All I can say is try restarting.
And Eric Hitchmo, I haven't seen him.
When you say there's 3 or 5,
Yeah,
what
it's
are you
been a
looking
while.
at? Are you looking at your Wi-Fi, like your like the Wi-Fi
This is
connections?
Wi-Fi list available, yeah.
Yeah. But now, when it all dropped off, for me, reset the system means.
Was
that
this
you
during
guys
the...
must pay a
Excuse me,
third
hang on a second.
Tell them to do it on Periscope.
Can you do it on Periscope, Joe?
You can't. Yeah, but Periscope doesn't work the same way. This is like a whole little.
He doesn't get his 50 cents. Ask him because he doesn't get his 50 cents.
The third time I've used it, and
I took kratom and it got stuck in my throat.
Talk to me in real time.
Karen.
And do these little tipping services and
What's
stuff
up,
like
Matt
that.
Cash?
Okay.
What's that?
Well, I'm gonna go. I got some friends online. Let me talk to them. I'll give you a call back. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
You're like this. He's so fucking stupid, man. You're his official text.
Oh my God! Look at
A
Sega's
Discord
Arnold.
member by the name
Sega.
of Real Big Dummy initiated the
Oh,
host.
there you go.
himself
He saved it. He
encouraged
saved
Joe
it.
He's a
to
nice
restart
guy,
the
I feel
stream
bad.
numerous times.
Hey, Joe, this is Ian with Stage It from the SNN department.
From the SNN department.
What we figured out, so we're getting some users
It's like
that
one
are
step above the
because
Indian
you
call
restarted
center.
the show, they got locked out and they already paid for the other one. So we have it set up now. If you just start a new one, all those users will be able to get in for free that already paid on your previous
Dude, people
one.
were so mad about this.
Automatically refund.
You have to start one last one. We have to start one more because we reauthorized it.
Start it up again.
Yeah, one last time, and it will let users from both the rooms that already paid in. Okay?
I don't have to tell them anything.
No, they'll get an email saying that when you start the new show, everyone who already paid for a ticket. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Joe. Have a good night. Thank you.
Perfect. The only thing is, I don't know if it's gonna work that well, right? Because people will say that they're gonna have to pay for it.
So if anyone's wondering what's happening right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
So Joe, and you kind of explained it pretty well, but Joe is trying to do this thing, this sort of like Stage It webcam where you have to pay. So it's like his Connect Pal where you got to pay to view content. This thing is you got to pay to watch his webcam show. So he's having trouble because like he's not exactly like totally technically inclined. So people just saw an opportunity to kind of like have some shenanigans. And they call him up. I don't know how they got his number, where that was acquired or whatever.
Oh, because he was doing a call-in show. And he, as part of the call-in show, he put his mobile number up.
Okay, so in Discord, everyone's in Discord, and they called him up, and they said, no, what you got to do is you have to restart. Like, your show's not coming in right now, so you got to restart it. And so every time he restarted it, all of his people had to pay another $5.
Yeah, all the people that bought tickets, they had to join the stream. They had to buy another ticket, another $5, and he did. I think they did it about 2 times.
So they were pissed at him after that. They're like, this dude, like, he's ripping us off right now. He's shutting streams off and making us pay twice and everything. So it was just some mischief. That's all it was. But you know, he kind of fell for it.
That's the idea.
That's the whole idea. So everyone gets pissed off and has to pay like 4 times.
The prank was a success, with Joe restarting the stream, forcing viewers to buy more tickets at each attempt.
Keep restarting it until it works. That's all you gotta do.
Joe, be careful. Stage it.
Oh yeah, no, he already did it. I think. I hope so.
Yeah. By the way, Karen, were you there for this that night? Were you watching it?
Somebody told me that you can see me in the thread saying, Joe, start this abortion already.
So you trolled him a little bit too, like you would have some fun with it.
Yeah, like I mean, I was really drunk when this was going on, but I was having a blast. Like,
oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yes, he did it.
Oh, shit. Joe's fans were furious and, having already donated, took to Twitter to express their frustration.
Hollywood
In
mob.
another tale of disastrous crisis management, Joe's idea of compensation resulted in him gifting MP3 files of Way's directions, recorded in a host of Joe's unique voices. These included impressions ranging from Damone from Fast Times at Richmond High, his hero Rocky Balboa and Tony Soprano, to original characters such as Angry Meds Joe and Rose, the racist Italian grandmother. It was during this time that a Joe Matarese podcast,
He's like a worse Frank
emerged,
Caliendo.
named after a response from Joe to Mike David examining his violent heritage. Mike was informed that he might get his ass kicked as a learning experience, given that Joe was 100% Italian. He also took to emailing an unusual threat to Mike, referencing the Billy Bat scene in Goodfellas. The podcast featured a poor imitation of Red Bar's imitation of Joe, interviewing Opie and Anthony favourites using heavily doctored clips taken out of context.
So seriously, Italian to Italian, what do you think?
It was terrible.
Come on, it wasn't that bad.
It was the worst. I mean, my God.
Okay, but what did it make you feel?
Anger, boredom.
What about it didn't you like? I could take criticism. I could even change it.
It's all pathetic and sad and, you know.
You really think it's pathetic?
Really pathetic at 50 to be doing this shit.
I sold my wedding ring for this. That means something, right?
Like, that's pathetic, you know? That's really weak.
So you really hated it that much?
I think I have a lawsuit.
With views in the thousands, the podcast became something of an underground success, something that severely angered and embarrassed the real Joe. Such was his medicated rage that he had the channel shut down, following 3 successful copyright strikes.
See, that
These were
wasn't cool,
successfully
Joe.
challenged, and Joe's schemes were once again thwarted. Joe was out of control. Whether this elevation of Joe's foolishness was due to his
Yeah, you
growing
think
battle
so,
with
Karen? So
prescription
where were you
medication.
at with this, Karen? When you heard about it getting shut down and stuff, what did you think of that?
I love the CNN stuff. I thought it was great. That kind of thing I am a fan of. You know, and Joe's so gullible, and you know, like who gets a call from an app?
Yeah. Right.
like no matter, like, you're on your own in the internet world, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right, amen.
So gullible.
Why didn't he just send an email to the real, like, people? Just send an email.
That's all it would have taken.
It's like somebody, like a 7-year-old getting tricked.
It
really is.
Yeah,
You need
you're
to
right.
look at your computer.
It is the Wild West, and you gotta, like, know kind of what you're doing when you're digging into it. And poor Joe was just, his head was underwater. He couldn't swim.
Become severely problematic. Joe began streaming regularly to Periscope and YouTube, with increasingly bizarre performances, often responding direct to Mike David's ongoing coverage on Red Bar Radio. In this video, he attends a lavish Tony Soprano-style garden party, but spends the duration ranting angrily into his phone.
This is probably nothing better than when you're at the outdoor barbecue and you show up with a 6-pack and a birthday gift for their kid.
Suddenly turns into Mike Fenoya.
$700 worth of food and drink like $400 in alcohol.
Okay, stop. Like, that's just, I just want to point out something, like, Joe's cheapness. Like, he's weighing he's chronically cheap. He's weighing the cost of what he brought to the garden party versus, like, what he can extract from it, $700 worth of food.
He brings a 6-pack and a gift, and he gets like $100 of food and drink.
But that's just a lead into, like, you know, his bizarre behavior at this function. You know, you got to imagine, like, all these people at this function, they have normal relationships. The men probably make more than their wives. Joe is here, like, as a quasi celebrity, but also, like, you know, he's just embarrassed. He just goes on to embarrass himself, like, and he's probably like, the people at the barbecue, the garden party, they probably were looking at this guy, you know, and somebody told me he was probably allowed 1 beer by his wife.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he got progressively drunk off that 1 beer, and, like, he was like, the sips he was taking at the end when we're about to see were probably such little, he's probably sucking the bottom of the bottle.
The funny thing is, though, like, it's literally like a scene pulled out of, like, George Costanza in Seinfeld, like him going to and obsessing over, like, how much he's ahead by, and like how fucking profitable the garden party is for him, and it's like fucking, yeah, that's fucking hilarious, man. It's so stupid.
That's brutal. That all the guys are making more than their wives, and then Joe walks in.
It's got to be bad to be like America's Got Talent kind of famous, but just have like no success to back it up. Like you're
Absolutely.
well known, but you're just like nobody really cares.
Right.
I think like as well the whole thing with him really like working out the fucking mathematics of how much he's ahead by how much food he's eating. I think at that point he just badly needed a win, and he's probably went home after this thinking, you know what, I ate for free tonight, and that's fine. That's made up for everything.
He's like in the Maslow hierarchy of needs. He's gone so far down that he's just at the point of like basic natural needs. Like, yes, I ate tonight.
I'm doing good because I ate tonight for nothing.
Yeah.
But he's like drinking the Heineken.
He's a collector of moments. I read back in the day this book called The Clown. It was about like this clown in Nazi Germany, like, and the guy Joe. It was a really good book. I don't remember it well, but like Joe's a collector of moments. I've been on Letterman twice. I've been on Craig Ferguson. Like,
interesting.
They don't have cash value. Like, they're just moments.
He probably thinks that he's a bigger comedian than he really is because he got these moments where he was on these fairly big shows.
Like his
but
resume,
it means nothing.
Yeah, the little bullet points on his resume look good, but it didn't really amount to how good it looks.
And they're the outliers as well. They're the anomalies. And the 9 to 5 of Joe's life isn't that. The 9 to 5 of Joe's life is, I mean, like, he's a touring comedian, and like it's funny to say, oh, he does garden gigs for like $100, but I think Karen knows that when he's touring, he makes decent money. He's okay. I don't think he makes like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but he does okay. But it's not that. Like, no one's criticizing him for that. It's all this battling the trolls thing and the whole wife thing. The way he's living his life isn't reflective of these incredible moments that he's trying to perceive his life being. Like, he wants people to look at him as the Letterman guy, as the America's Got Talent guy, but that's not really how he's living his life, and that's not really how people interacting with him are seeing him.
Yeah,
but in his head, he's got a better. When he interviews Artie, Norton, and Cumia, he's like, I have a better life than you, and he does have a better life externally. You know, like home cooked meals, probably, like, you know, shelter. You know, contrast that with like Gino. You know what I mean? But like, Joe, like you said, Porsalin, Joe has cultivated a career, but he wouldn't have this lifestyle without his wife.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
I gotta go for 1 second. I'm not gonna leave the chat, but I just gotta leave.
Oh yeah, no problem.
See you shortly.
Sure.
A buffet of foolish treats as he honed in on attacking Mike's allegedly wealthy father, his teenage fans, and his height.
Tell Red Bar to go get more money from his rich dad. He just comes across like, I have a rich dad. Am I the only one that thinks that? Joe, Red Bar says you get a new start next year. Tell him to ask his dad for more money to buy him more equipment for his fucking 8 teenagers that watch him. Tell him I said that. And tell him in his pictures it's obvious that he's 5'1". Very small dude.
He continued by
I was actually proud.
$150,000 development.
Oh, sorry, Karen. What's that?
I was actually proud at the time of Joe for fighting back because it was much needed. It was an avalanche of stuff directed at him from the online community and Red Bar. So at this time in my life, I was actually happy that Joe decided to fight back.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to deal with. Like, best way I know how to deal with people like that is, like, just, like, accept it. It's like, if they make good jokes, like, you gotta laugh at it. You gotta just laugh at what people do. I mean, it's really no way to... Because in the end, the people don't like absolutely hate and despise Joe. They're just doing it because like his reaction is what it is. If he just sort of laughed at it, like, you got to be genuine. You can't like fake it either. Like, so he just couldn't do that. He had to kind of like overdo them. Like, he had to one up them, and that was the problem. Like, you keep one upping an army of anonymous people with nothing better to do, they're gonna find a way to one up you back, and it just escalates.
Yeah, and they're operating in an environment where there's no real moral limit. Like they won't mind going the direction that Joe probably might not go because Joe's a public figure. These people at least perceive themselves to be somewhat anonymous, and as you saw with Tom Daly, they don't really care about what they say, do, or post online. So it's a battle Joe can never win just by the limits that his career sets himself.
Right. Okay.
Look at Joe's eyebrow. It's like, he looks like an Asian woman. Like
he looks like he's doing like the Rock eyebrow.
Dude, look how big his nose is.
Okay, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Development deal, despite having any significant show or projects commissioned.
Joe, ask your wife for more money. That's funny. Like, I don't make any money. Got a $150,000 development deal. Did you ever get one of those? Did you ever get one of those?
The clip ends with him.
Oh, Rooster McDougal shouted out
after
Karen.
making some quite distressing.
What's up, Rooster?
You wish you had a rich wife. You wish you had an attractive rich wife with medical insurance. You 5'1" midget.
In other videos,
little sip, a little bit of little bitty sip.
To a pay-per-view show, frantically attempting to monetize the hate.
Who gives a shit? Let's be like boxers. You know how boxers get in arguments, and they get in arguments, and then they who the hell is the unknown caller? They get in arguments, and then that's supposed to drive you to want to do the pay-per-view, right? So maybe Mike from Red Bar and me tease it. We tease it all over social media that we're gonna do an hour together, you know, and there's a pay per listen, and him and I split the money 50-50. Put that out there to him. I would do that. That'd be fucking hilarious. That'd be fun. It'd be better if I went off my meds though. If I went no Celexa, got it completely out of my system. I went 6 straight weeks, no Celexa, and I'm just like back to like when I was a little angrier, and then we do it.
He was also spotted streaming quietly from another room during a dinner party, clearly dazed and stupefied.
This freaks me out.
This was another day, or this was
the
next day.
All these are different occurrence. These are just like random times that he was spotted. Like this clip is much longer, and he does interact with the audience, but he like whispers throughout the whole thing, and he says a lot of really weird shit, and you can hear like his wife in the background with like friends over trying to organize like a dinner party,
right?
And he's like going, "Yeah, I'll be in a minute," kind of thing, and then he's just like fucking going nuts on his Alexa in his smartphone.
How did you get all these? Did Rooster record them?
I mean, luckily, like Mike David was pretty sweet in galvanizing a couple of the people in the Bring Back group together. They grabbed a lot of stuff for me, and then other stuff was just dotted around. Yeah, and people like Rooster like just so happened to have recorded a lot of this stuff. Like there was a time within Red Bar and stuff when anytime Joe would go live, it was an event, and it was like we need to make sure we've got the tapes, we need to make sure we got the recording. So there's a lot of Joe that's been captured.
What is he doing?
He's zooted.
It's when you crash from the
In our final
Adderall.
video, Joe starts the stream incredibly animated. A likely
This
side effect
one
from his
right
use
here
of
was.
Adderall.
This one right here was epic. It was done. This is after Steve Miller and I recorded Joe at his show.
Yeah,
and it got Red Bar. And that night, Joe was cool with me, but obviously when he got home, he or his family told him, "Hey, yo, Karen put your family on Red Bar." you know what I mean?
The longer version of this particular clip has all of the Karen stuff in it. He directs a lot of this at you, so it's definitely worth checking out.
Is it on YouTube?
It's around, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was so venomous, like, towards me at this point, like, and everybody. This was an epic thing where he like lost it 2 or 3 days after April 7th, the famous April 7th night.
Is that that's the night where Joe's goons tried leading you out of the fucking because you were filming?
Yeah, that was overplayed, but like we were filming it, and Red Bar was simulcasting it, and the guy told us to stop filming. You know what I mean? But we had asked for permission to film. At first, it was granted.
Wow,
that was an epic night, man. That was a real. That was like the defining moment in the "Who do I love, Joe or Mike?" Battle, because like I did things that I knew Mike would probably like, and it was at Joe's expense.
Right. But you're trying to enjoy it. Like you enjoy Joe as a person and like all the stuff that goes around with him, and then this was just what was going on. So it's like you're just enjoying the show in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean, I was recognizing the humor in it. It's really an epic Scars Club episode, and we were just filming. We were filming at this show Joe was doing from a strip mall.
That was it, yeah.
And it was just an incredible night. Like, and this is Joe's reaction 3 days later, after he's been talked to. I think by his family, about how we filmed and it got used on Red Bar, because in the tirade he talks about it.
How are you with him now?
We don't talk. We used to talk on the phone, and we used to take advice, and he would email me back and forth. But we have no relationship now because of April 7th.
Oh, so this was the end. Okay, that's all right. So this was the end of Karen and Joe's friendship.
Yeah.
What happened to Monumental Waste of Time, your podcast?
Still going.
Oh, nice.
Still going. We're on air tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. Nice. Okay, cool. Jesus, Joe. Took about 3.5 Adderalls for this one. Plugged one of them, snorted one of them, and dropped the other.
He then moves to aggressively push viewers to his paid service on Patreon before another lengthy and deranged rant aimed at the trolls.
Oh, come on.
You can tell he's on it because he's licking his lips and moving his mouth a lot.
Yeah.
Here on stupid Periscope. And then I'm just gonna shut it the fuck off. So join the Patreon page. Just join. It's easy. Patreon.com.
Playing a Prince song.
Okay? That's the way it's gonna work. Okay? I'll hook up a phone. You can Skype in. You can talk to me. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna sit here.
Mike David of Red Bar had a really good episode last week where he talked about how Joe takes Adderall, like you guys are saying, and he's already manic, but he comes on and he comes with these like grandiose plans. This is how it's going to work, and then the next day, like it's all gone forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like he took down his. It's like when he's on the Adderall, like he comes to these like wild conclusions and wild ideas, and they go nowhere. They're not even implemented.
Karen, do you do your podcast on YouTube?
We do it on Facebook, and then it exists on like Stitcher, and it's just on Facebook out of a podcast network.
How do I plug it how do I give people a link?
Well, it's on our Facebook page, the Monumental Waste of Time Facebook page. they have to just search out our Facebook page because it doesn't. If you stop wasting time, you can get to it. It's on Stitcher and laughcast.laffcas. Audio versions are.
All right, I'll give people a link.
Thanks, brother.
Sure. Okay, there we go. All right, so yeah, if you want to hear it, there it is. Okay, so I'll continue.
Skype and just do this. Okay? I'm done. Done with the fucking stories and the lies and the fucking bullshit. And people acting like they're fucking tough when they leave. When they go home. No, you're not. You're not tough.
Joe was unhinged. He seemed oblivious to his public image and found himself embarrassingly exposed on platforms such as the Monumental Waste of Time podcast.
Why do I frustrate you so much? That's what I don't get.
Because
You
you're
don't
a
understand
fucking
this.
asshole. It's obvious, dude. I can hear it in your voice. If you were in
No,
front of
in
me,
my
I
head,
would pull the...
in my imagination. So we know for a fact that Joe is at a Little League game for his son.
He is, yeah.
But in my imagination, he's just pacing. You see him like out past the left field fence, and you just see him pacing back and forth, yelling to his phone, and his wife's on the bleachers with the other moms and all that, just embarrassed. And they're asking her like, "What's he doing? Is he okay out there?" And she's just like, "Yes, he's fine. He's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong."
And dude, the kid makes like a really good play, and he's like, "Dad, Dad, Dad!" He looks over, and Joe just furiously ranting his phone, and the kid, oh.
Yeah, oh yeah. We can go into this one. Like, we can watch a little more of this. I'm pretty sure it's still on YouTube.
It's on the Facebook Monument most times. Someone did create a backup of it, and I don't know who, and I don't know where it is. But I ripped it from Facebook when I did the doc.
Oh, okay.
Because, on the MWAT Facebook page, you click on videos. It's got all the historical episodes there.
Okay, yeah. It used to be on there. Someone must have privated it or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. We'll maybe we'll look into that later or something like that.
So the Celexa will be gone, and I would be charging you with a forearm to your fucking chin. You're a fucking asshole, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. You've never done anything in show business. That's it.
Again, we're back to that. So I have to have done something in show business to have a valid opinion.
What have you done?
I need to.
A fucking opinion.
I need to.
You haven't done anything. What have you done?
You ready?
What have you done?
That's what I need to do to have a valid opinion? That makes no sense.
During an episode in which Joe called the show from his son's Little League game, Joe was on the receiving end of an onslaught of home truths from comedian Steve Rees.
Everybody who's a big fan of yours, everybody who's a big fan of yours has massive TV credits. That's what you're telling me?
I don't want assholes to like me, dude. I'm nice enough to call in to this radio show during a fucking Little League game. I'm on fucking so many medications that I can't get angry unless you're an asshole.
Bitterness
you're
and
a fucking
Adderall.
asshole, dude.
Bitterness
Dude,
and Adderall.
You've made it. If I ever fucking run into you or that Mike David guy, I'm gonna fucking knock you off your fucking feet.
Joe. Strangely, Joe remained on the show, only to spend a significant amount of
This
time
was
at his
fucking
son's
great.
Little League game, furiously screaming back at Steve.
Now, Karen, where's that Hey Joe hat nowadays? That thing's sitting under a bunch of other crap, just collecting dust because
baseball cards.
You're like, fuck Joe.
I sometimes break it out, but you're right. It's crushed on a pile of clothes. Like it's at its day.
Yep. Yeah, it's had its day. Right.
Dude, you're like asking a Jewish guy what he thinks of my lasagna. Just stop talking to me. That's not racist.
I'm only kidding, Joe.
That's not racist.
I mean, it's beyond stupid, but it's not racist.
It's like asking a guy that wrote like 3 knock jokes what he thinks about someone's stand-up comedy.
But that doesn't make sense at all, Joe, because everybody in the audience is not
All you're saying is that you go to South Dakota and go to Coda and ask them if they know. I'm trying to think of other
Steve,
comedians
this
that I
comes to
think
the
are funny.
credibility issue, though. You get like this comes.
You
to...
have no credibility, dude. You got 335 Twitter followers. You're nobody.
Oh,
You're a jealous motherfucker. That's what you are. You never-
That's how you measure
Go
the value of somebody's opinion, the number of Twitter followers.
This, along with Joe Matarese superfan Karen filming one of Joe's shows, would contribute to him blocking the transgendered form of stand-up for months.
This is day 16, blocked by Joe Matarese. So it's day 20 being blocked by Joe. Day 23, blocked by Joe Matarese.
Possibly one of the most professionally disastrous
Hey guys,
of Joe's
I'm
live
back.
streams resulted in him
welcome
being
back.
all but blacklisted from Anthony Cumia's network, Compound Media. With Anthony now partnering former Howard Stern co-host Artie Lang in their new show, Artie and Anthony, Joe decided to broadcast his denigration of the show to the online world. The video was then played on an episode of Artie and Anthony with Joe himself in studio to answer for his crimes.
Yesterday you were very serious though, and talking behind my back, so it's terrible.
Yeah. What do you have some of that? I do want to hear some.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear this.
Let's hear Shepard Smith.
Come on, I can't believe this is going to be
I
2
am
hours.
booked to go on the Artie and
this is
Anthony
great.
show
This is great.
next Tuesday.
This guy looks high as fuck. Wait, what's about? What are you doing?
Should I be
What are you doing with your eyes?
It was like
honest
late
about
at
this?
night, and my eye.
I might not
Suffering
go.
from chronic dry
Why is he not admitting that
Dangerous
he's on
cases.
medication?
Yeah, I mean, his podcast. Oh no, wait, wasn't something of his called Medicated?
Yeah, he's a stand-up special.
Yeah.
2016 was medicated.
So it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, might as well just be open about it.
I think the difference is I think he likes the image and the idea, like problems. He's taking medication. He's got psychological things he's dealing with, but then he doesn't want people to see the reality of it. And the reality of it is like him wide-eyed, manic, and touching his face, and like flailing his arms. He doesn't want people to see that side of it. He wants almost the romanticized idea of being medicated, the Mark Maron style thing of like, oh yeah, I've got problems, man, but I'm dealing with them and I'm broken. I'm a flawed human being. But in reality, this is what he is. He's a wide-eyed, manic, kind of insane person.
Right.
Yeah, like some 14-year-old who thinks taking Adderall is cool or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something I want to ask, because I don't really know a lot about Joe Matarese. What's his history as a comedian before he kind of broke through? Because he doesn't seem really comfortable around other comedians at all. When you look at the Fixing Joe live show and stuff, he just seems really like uptight and really insecure around other comedians.
Well, he's accepted by them, although it's been derailed. He's accepted, but he came up in the New York scene, so he gets respect like that from old New York heads like Nick DiPaolo and Norton and so on. But Joe is he's not, and he does the New York shows where they get paid $75, and then these comedians play New York during the week, and then they go on the road during the weekends. That's the formula. But he's not really in their world because he has this stable home life. He's not really in the world of like the gritty New York comic. So he is like a little bit different than the typical comedian right now. And also, I want to say this about comedy. Comedy is a young man's game. It's sort of like hip hop. Right now, he's 50. It's not fun to be like 50-51 in general, but 50-51 in stand-up, and you're not like and you're not a star. That's
Absolutely.
Oh.
A scary place to be.
Yep. You're right about that. He's
well,
lucky
about the
with
family thing. Like look at Louis C.K. He's, I mean, kind of a family man, I guess you could say. He talked about his family, his daughters a lot, but he never like seemed to be offended or, you know, to take things too personally when other comedians were in the room, you know, bashing him or throwing the ball back and forth. He never really seemed to be like really insecure about that the way Joe does.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. I mean, Joe's not quick. He's not quick on his feet. Joe built his career because he was very good at the antiquated business of comedy, which was pre-internet, promoting yourself, calling clubs, like building a resume, having TV credits. That's the antiquated business model of stand-up, and he's not quick on his feet like popular comedians, so he can't win in that kind of game. Like,
right.
Yeah,
they're playing, playing the dozens or is an old like African tradition, making fun of each other. Like Joe can't win at that.
Right. True. Yeah. And obviously not really into the whole social media and internet side.
Right.
As we've seen.
Right. Yes. He tries though. I give him an A for effort, but he tries, but he doesn't have a good plan. He's been on all the platforms, but been an insane failure on all of them. You know what I mean? Except for Periscope, where he's stunning. It's a work of beauty when he's on Periscope, flipping out.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing.
Now, this was amazing to me that he thought that this was a good idea, because obviously he's going to go back on Anthony. Obviously someone's going to record this. But in all of this trolling and the place that he was in, the reputation he had built up, for him to think that, like, it was going to be a good idea to start critiquing Artie and Anthony, like he's like, Gary Baba Booey. It was like, Joe, why would you ever think to do this?
Well, this is my favorite part of the documentary. This is Joe on a show getting steamrolled around, quicker, smarter comedians, and they don't even let him get a word in edgewise. His talking occurs from the footage, and the footage is outstanding.
I'll go back just a little bit.
His criticisms were also very dry and serious. They're not humorous jokes. He's just giving real criticisms of the bigger show that he's on.
Right.
Compound
You're
Media
not looking
with
at it.
Anthony.
Oh, my bad. I stepped on it. I'll press play.
Now partnering former Howard Stern co-host Artie Lang in their new show, Artie and Anthony, Joe decided to broadcast his denigration of the show to the online world. The video was then played on an episode of Artie and Anthony with Joe himself in studio to answer for his crimes.
Yesterday you were very serious, though, and talking behind my back, so it's terrible.
Yeah. What, do you have some of that? I do want to hear
Let's
some
hear
of
it.
Let's hear this.
Let's hear Shepard Smith.
Come on, I can't believe this is going to be
I
2
am
hours.
booked to go on the Artie and Anthony
This
show
is great.
next Tuesday.
This guy looks high as fuck.
Wait, what's about we doing?
Should I be 100%
what are you doing with your eyes?
It was
honest about
late
this?
at night, and my eye.
I might not
Suffering
go.
from chronic dry
I might
eye.
cancel.
You need Restasis.
What do you
Might not
guys
go.
think?
Much of Joe's criticism landed at the feet of Artie Lang, stating how the Dirty Work and Beer League actor had difficulty maintaining eye contact with Anthony.
Artie, I don't think is as good at the team thing. If you watch, everybody's probably watched Artie and.
He's moving around like
Artie
a fucking crackhead. What is he doing?
I'm sitting there going, hey, Artie, just look at Anthony, and you're fine. You're not looking at him when you're talking. You're looking this other way.
Joe.
For 2 hours, just look at him. Make eye contact and look at somebody and talk to them.
I love that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Grab the mic and bludgeon you.
But you can't look
One
in separate
forced
directions.
trauma.
It's like,
All of a sudden, you see De
do you ever
Niro's
make out
heel.
with
No, do you have any?
In the back, not on
Am
his
I the
fucking
only one?
phone.
If you have sex with a woman and she's not looking at him versus when a girl's just like this.
Joe, do you have any
looking at
advice
it,
for
unless
anyone
it's
who's
like
not
she's
insanely
opening her
successful in
eyes
radio?
Joe then gave pointers to how the show could work better, including some harsh truths for Anthony, asserting how he struggles with more than one guest.
Who's the guy in the back?
What's with the eyes?
Who's that
Yeah,
guy?
it's not holding my own. It's just knowing where I really
songwriter guy.
come across. Now, I'm
lives
going to
indoors
say
now.
this,
Oh,
and I don't mean
one
it
second.
as
Artie and
Karen, did
Anthony
you see?
suck song?
I'm a very
Did you see Red Bar's coverage on the guy in the back?
They call him Drax.
Drax. I was trying to think of the name. Yeah, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it?
That's singer-songwriter Artie Tobias. He's just an incredible side player in this epic footage, man.
I mean, Mike David's stuff on Drax was literally the fact he's turned him into this like weird fantastical beast character thing, and every time he like on the Red Bar episode where he brings him from stuff, every time it would like cut in close to him, Mike would recoil in fear. It was the funniest shit.
Porsalin, give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta call somebody back. Oh,
we're
whoops.
gonna... Yeah, we'll
There we
carry
go.
on.
No.
Put it to music. He
Or
doesn't
I
open
might
his
should- I think I could be a
eyes.
director. I
He
feel
never
like I
looks
have
at
that eye.
Anthony.
I don't know if I'm the first person to say
Musical
this
number.
about Artie Lang and Anthony Cumia.
I mean, so far there's
Anthony
nothing big.
Cumia is very good with one guest. He's very good at it.
Okay, here we go.
Artie
terrible.
Lang.
Okay,
should
you
do a
and you leave.
podcast or radio where
Pause
it's
this. Can we
just
pause it for a
on the
second?
way
I
out.
pause it for a
I'm
second.
from Jersey for this.
I'm very good with one guest.
See, I'm connecting that
just have
with
to
what
find
I
out who
said
that
earlier,
guest is.
that if I got to be there with Anthony and multiple guests, that's in my fucked up ADD brain that's not on Adderall at 11 o'clock at night.
Joe would also indicate that Artie, a known drug addict, was still using, despite Joe himself appearing spaced out.
Before he starts talking, would you make that guy the designated driver? Look at you, man. You don't think
you
you're
look
high?
a little, I'll say, strung out. You look a little strung out in this. Your eyes are like, you go back and your eyes open wide.
You look like someone just told Otto George died.
Oh, God.
Joe would also mention a sensitive time of Artie's when the overweight drug addict stabbed himself in the stomach numerous
What
times
is up
when
with
high.
Anthony's skin tone?
for staying on topic. Despite
It's like
Joe's
maroon
fucking
or something.
desperate
It
attempt
looks
deflecting to
terrible. It looks
Artie's
like a mulatto or
habits, like he
something. I
actually
don't.
gives a fuck.
Man,
That is
doesn't look
I
like
think it's-
human skin.
I think that they definitely, especially like you'll notice changes from like skin color of Anthony's and fidelity and resolution from when it's the wide shot to when it's the close up of Anthony's side. The close up of Anthony's side, that camera they've definitely like softened it. They've done some stuff with the colorization of it. They've really tried. I think they've tried to like make it so that his scars and shit aren't that apparent. But yeah, it's definitely like his skin color is really weird. He looks like he's got jaundice.
Yeah, he looks a lot different in any picture you see him in. People have commented on that. They compared him to Ted Bundy. how he never looks the same. Like in any two pictures. There was one picture I included in part 4 of my series, where it's the one where like I think somebody titled it on Reddit, Anthony Cumia is rotting, where it's like his head looks like it's gotten like compressed. Like vertically, so it's like it looks like it's shorter, and he looks like one of the goblins from Harry Potter.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, I know that picture.
He just looks so different in every picture, and on this he's just this weird like mauve color. It's bizarre.
I guess that just happens when you look that atrocious. The margin of error is like so finite that you could either look almost passable or like the worst thing ever created in history. So I think it's just like any normal guy kind of looks normal most of the time. They might look shit one day or like slightly better another day. But when you look like Anthony, it's like all or nothing. So unless he really puts every single follicle in place and make sure his complexion is fucking sellotaped with all kinds of fucking shit to stop his scars from showing, then he's gonna have a bad day.
Anthony.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound PC like by saying this. I didn't mean anything by calling him like, or by saying he looks like a mulatto. It's just he doesn't look like a white person. He's got that kind of like mixed race.
Yeah, like a half nigger is.
That's an appropriate term, I believe.
Oh, somebody again was in the chat saying that like they thought your documentary was good, but they thought that you were lying when you said Proud Boys was a white nationalist group. But he's actually explained that before, and he said like no, he was being sarcastic, like he was being tongue in cheek with it. He wasn't being serious.
Oh yeah.
I realized I probably should have like put a pinned comment or something saying that was sarcasm, because like maybe not sarcasm, that's not necessarily the right term, but it was facetious, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it was either I was going to say they were white nationalists because there's a history of them being misrepresented as white nationalists and Nazis, and it really pisses them off.
Yeah, exactly.
It was that, or call them a homosexual gentleman's club or whatever. It was just a throwaway joke.
It's the same as when I presented Compound Media as a racist and then racist organization, and I cherry picked like Jared Taylor clips and a clip within Hot Water where they're playing as gorillas and stuff. Like, of course, like anyone could make the argument saying, well, it's not racist. It's not, I mean, I would argue otherwise, but like it was done to piss them off. It was done as a joke. Like you guys are always bitching about how you're not racist, so I'm just gonna say it and see what you do.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even go that far with that line in the video. It's just a clip of them doing their real stupid serial beat-in ritual, and then me just like not just calling a white nationalist as a joke. It's just a throwaway line in the video. But I think there are probably like 20 comments about that or something ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Like
I mean, all 20 of the Proud Boys commented on it. Wow.
No, but
really
people
rustled the hornet's nest.
But people just didn't know you yet, or like your personality, like your video maker, persona. I don't know what you would call it, but you know what I mean. Like, so they were probably like, they probably thought, is he being serious? Like, but now. And
also, you present it in a kind of similar way the Chris Chan guy does it. You're very middle, and it's like I can tell now when you like trying when you're like being funny, and the lines are like they're buried under the kind of like seriousness of it. And I think just anyone that's new to you would probably think you're literally being serious about everything because of how you like deliver the lines and stuff. But no, I've gotten to the point where now I'm like, yeah, he's fucking around.
Right. I've got a lot of comments like that where they watch the second, third, fourth video and they say, I wasn't sure at the first one, but now I get it. And I have like, to be honest, I have like two different types of sense of humor, I guess. One is right now, which is just off the cuff. I will be honest, I'm not necessarily the fastest wit, but I have my other sense of humor, which is when I'm working on these videos for like 3-4 weeks and I have all these thoughts that I can plot out and I get these like subtle lines in my head and just these ideas that I can plot out, here's this 4,000 words section and I can put in different things here and here and I get ideas for clips like the 16 turns to 17 thing. That's like the humor I get when I really think about something for a long time. It's like Sam when he would find something weird in the show that just be bizarre and obscure, and it's just like some poor guy who's not related to the show getting dragged into something, it just being beaten up for no reason, and it's hilarious because there's no frame of reference. It's just some random thing that doesn't make. It's just some poor individual being dragged into something. It's just funny in my opinion. I like that kind of subtle, sarcastic, dry sense of humor, but also just like dumb shit, like that Anthony Cumia making the mouth fart clip of the video. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, it's a reason why I blew up his face at that particular point because I went through that clip like 4 or 5 times and it made me laugh.
Definitely fit the video well.
I had that happen during the third video where there's a thick spray part. where he's talking to the guy, and the guy's like, sometimes even 50 or 60-year-old men have problems with, premature ejaculation. And you just see Anthony tilt his head and go, really? It just zooms in his face. I watched that as I'm editing it probably 30 times. I just laughed I don't know if they translate. I don't know if people even notice them, but they fucking make me laugh every time I watch them.
That clip with Anthony, I gotta find it. Or not clip, that screenshot. I could not stop laughing at this fucking screenshot. Hold on, I'll be able to find it and put it on the stream. It was earlier in this documentary, I think. Yeah, because this is the only one we watched tonight. So it's earlier in the documentary, and it was when Anthony made that face, and he looks like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, he looks like he's got like these big giant lips, and I'll find it in a minute. I'll find it, but I'll keep going.
Is it the thumbnail one? Like the one where he's looking down, kind of almost like Chip Chipperson or something?
It's the one where he's got these giant lips. I'll be able to find it in like 2 seconds. I think Sega's Arnold posted it yesterday somewhere, and it just cracks me the fuck up.
I thought you meant something from a clip from the video or something. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh yeah, it's a screen cap of Anthony's face, and it is so good. All right, I'll press play though.
Thank you. Biggest piece of shit move I've ever seen, Joe. 30 years in the biz and you can't hang? What the fuck's your problem?
Wow. This guy's fucking going
I
at
guess
you.
you weren't on the end of a call that your friend fucking stabbed himself 10 times.
Oh,
whatever.
wow. Now this is how he's deflecting.
that up in the video. You're
wow.
Why? No, but why are you acting like I don't give a shit? Why the fuck would I not? Tell me why I wouldn't give a shit.
Well, if you give a shit, you don't bring that up right now.
Jesus Christ.
I'm saying that's why.
Video of that? Can you roll the video?
I'm saying
should have
that's
made a video.
why- I'm saying that's why that
Talk
I've
about
had
letting
I've
the
had to
air
get
out of
those
the
phone
show.
calls.
How I
don't
really
want to get them anymore.
Yeah, that's what I think
You the
of.
one fixing him after that?
Yes.
No, it was Joe.
I said stab yourself
Okay,
9
there it
times.
is. It's on the screen. Just that fucking face just makes me fucking laugh. His giant lips. He looks like an old Italian grandma who's really fed up and somebody's being too loud in church or something.
Yeah, that's him making the fart noise.
Yeah, it's just the face.
I think he's trying to keep his dentures in or something.
Yeah, it's just great. All right, I just had
He looks
to
like someone
do that.
pasted over black women's lips on his face.
That's all right. That's fucking great.
Not 8 times.
This gave the green light for Artie and Anthony to both attack the New Jersey-born father of 2, and they didn't disappoint.
There's got to be one of your fucking callers.
Yeah.
Because I saw it on Twitter. There were a lot of people talking about that Artie didn't look good, and I wasn't the only fucking.
What an
one worried
asshole!
about it.
What an asshole!
It's just
asshole
It's
move.
just in comparison because he's sitting near me.
But I'm saying
I'm a regular,
You're desperately
fucking,
trying to get through this, and you're
Brad
bringing up
Pitt.
me stabbing myself. What the fuck is that about?
No, I'm saying that I was.
Now
on
I don't
the
like
other-
you.
I was on the other end of
Who
that.
gives a fuck if you get a phone call? What do I care?
I said
Already
How low
going
you
in
are on that
him.
list of people I'm worried about getting a call? Guy overcharges me for playing fucking Mohegan Sun?
Oh shit!
After that, Joe
shit.
Matt,
Like
you can hear
like I'm an-
you can hear him go, "All right, dude." I've only just noticed that now, but after he's like, "All right, dude," you can tell he's mad as fuck.
Yeah.
This was a really powerful moment because it undressed something that happens in comedy. Like comedians, they might know each other really well, but they're not friends. And especially if you're not in comedy anymore, and your comedian friends will fall off. This was really powerful to me because it showed that even though they worked together numerous times, Joe and Artie aren't friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Joe might have misunderstood the dynamic of his relationship with Artie there. He probably
Right.
didn't expect Artie to do this to him. And I think he's just starstruck by that.
But Joe had nothing to say when Artie said the guy who overcharges me. Joe said nothing. He couldn't. He couldn't. He knew it was true. It's like if you hang out with a friend only because they buy you things. It was that kind of thing.
Oh, Bailey said Artie was weak at Skankfest. I mean, he's doing probably the exact same jokes he's always done. I think anyone who listened to Stern and then the DePaulo with Artie or anything that's Artie's done for the past 10 years, there's got to be about 25 stories, jokes, bits, and little one-liners that you have heard repeated now a dozen times each.
I heard a weird thing. You know, he does that. She's the Jew broad fights Dracula's line. He always. He was on a talk show back in the mid 2000s, and the premise of that story thing is completely different to how he tells it now. He when he told it back then, he was talking about just some random guy that was a friend of the family's or something. Who was this just this crazy guy that used to hang around with the kids and stuff, and now he paints it it's his uncle or something. So
oh,
not only has he done that joke for 15 years, but he just completely changed the premise.
Damn! All right. Okay. So he's definitely
instead of writing new material, it's you know what? Let's rewrite material.
Right. Yeah, at least he's
if I do a
adapting.
little spin on the premise, then I'll get some fresh laughs out of it.
All right, I'll keep playing it. We're just about to the end here.
on that list of people I'm worried about getting a call.
All right, dude.
Guy who overcharges me for playing fucking
all right,
Mel
dude.
Egan's son.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh shit!
You know the guy,
Oh my God,
you know the guy I've been
mad.
overpaid for 10 years? I hope he doesn't get this call.
When I know when I know someone for a long time and they're my friend and
Bullshit.
we said we've been friends to each other, why would I not
Bullshit.
worry about you?
Yeah, especially when you're getting $2,500 a head.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding.
Come on, man, take the knife out.
Yeah, really.
When was
Out of my back.
I don't.
You stabbed me in my back 9 times. I did the front.
Holy shit!
Joe was also subject to the wrath of the callers,
No.
with the same trolls who had reveled
What's that, Karen?
No, I just said Gino.
Oh
Gino.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Flat broke.
in his breakdown, holding Joe's feet to the flame.
Spinach is saying that Matarese sort of stole my money. What's that about? Oh.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Probably a Groupon ticket.
So first of all, I'm not a complete hater.
And it's
of
Mark
you.
underscore.
I kind of am a fan, but if you remember a few weeks
It's this
ago,
guy from. Never mind.
Yeah, if you remember a few weeks ago, you did a show, and you were charging a little bit of money to get into it, like 50 cents, and you restarted it because it didn't work, and you said you'd give people refunds, but you didn't. And then when people kept asking for refunds, you promised them MP3s of like voices that you've done for like that wave.
This is great.
This is great.
I fucking can't.
If anyone,
you do voices of the waves.
Anyone would have really sent me this and said that, I would have sent them fucking the 50 cents
Send him
back.
50 cents.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know how you
Right?
said-
Is what he's saying right or no?
That
It was about
this happened.
$2.50.
And the website should have refunded you the money. I mean, I don't
The
understand.
best
And
part
I
is
didn't
that he's calling in to complain as a fan for something that he was in that Discord like doing to Joe. Like he's complaining and stuff, but he was part of that whole like technical support team thing. It's just kind of funny.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what you said in the stream, but you said the guy called you and said that the site would do it.
How do I
but
send
the
you
site never
money?
gave us the
How
money
do I
back.
send you money if I don't have any?
Dude, 50 cents, 50 cents for all your listeners. I got that on me.
A network at which Joe was once considered part of the family would now appear to turn its back on Matarese, with Joe yet to make a single appearance on Compound Media following that memorable episode. To this day, Joe continues to tour, and is soon to release a new comedy special titled The Poster's Wrong, assumingly to appear on his website. It is yet to be seen just how and when Joe will promote the 1 hour show, especially given the morbid fascination with his antics show no signs of dying down. Unfortunately, as we end our journey across the timeline of Joe Matarese, an ill-fated truth remains. Joe is his own worst enemy.
All right. See ya. I don't read the comments.
And that was it.
Right there.
Yes, of course.
And there you go. Fantastic.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was
I'll
awesome.
be honest. I think it really is legitimately on the same level as like a Frederick Knudsen video.
Both
I
you
actually-
guys.
You said that. I actually don't know who that is, but like, dude, I like he's probably gonna get like a bit kind of mutual bull washing here a little, but I wouldn't have done it if I didn't see the if I didn't see the deep end stuff and the demented world stuff as well. Like, I kind of did it because like I fucking loved yours a lot, and I was like, man, I wonder, like, I really want Joe Matarese. I'd love if that documentary was applied to Joe Matarese's life. And then I was just like, why don't I just do it? Like, and so yeah, man, I kind of like borrowed a lot from you, and I was like looking at your documentary, how you did it, and I was like, okay, if I kind of like do it similar, like make sure I include clips and things. So I've never done anything like this before, but like I said, like if not for your thing, this wouldn't have been made.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Did you ever watch like Mr. Medicare?
Yeah, yeah. We were all.
Frederick Knudsen, he does.
Oh,
Sorry,
you cut
hold on,
out,
I was
Beige.
hitting something wrong. Frederick Knudsen is like he does the Down the Rabbit Hole series. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a non-meme version of Mr. Medicare. So it's like legitimate,
okay.
in-depth documentaries. He doesn't do a
Really
lot of
good.
comedy in them. Yeah, it's just serious shit. And I think your Joe Matarese documentary is on that tier, but with also like the sort of dry comments and jokes in there. So it's even better.
I mean, I'm just loving that. Like, there's this like birth or not birth, but like it's definitely like an expansion of these kind of like homemade documentary stuff. Like, I first got into them through watching the Chris Chan documentary series before it got taken down, and that stuff, man, was fucking autistic as hell. But I love it. I really enjoyed it, and I was on the hunt at the time for like more of that stuff. Then I found the Jason Genova stuff that one other guy did, and then I saw that you did Jason Genova as well from that. So I watched your Jason Genova stuff, and I'm hooked, man. I'm just in this like YouTube hole of just like people's homemade documentaries, and it's weird that people are doing it, but it's fucking cool as fuck as well.
That's exactly why I started making them, because I started watching Frederick Knudsen, I started watching Mr. Medicare and Internet Historian, and then I realized that's it. There are no other people who do those videos, and I said, I gotta make my own, I guess, is the only other way these are going to be made. And I think maybe someday I'll revisit the Jason Genova videos and maybe remake them, because I was so amateur, and even now I'm pretty amateuristic with what I do, but even then it was like way worse, and they're very low quality. So I think I might revisit them and maybe just re-record the dialogue and up the videos a little bit. But he's a fascinating character, just a truly bizarre moment on the internet. And I watched the Christian videos that you're talking about from Gino Samuel, I think is that who you're talking about?
That's him, yeah.
I watched his video series too. It's crazy, but I kind of felt as they were getting later into the videos, I kind of felt like he was going to burn out on them, because it's what, like 11 episodes and they're all 45 minutes long.
Yeah, I watched the 12, and like there was a bit of a dip in the middle where it was a bit tough to watch, but like near the middle to the end, they got really good again. And you know, it's a reflect. It's like with your documentary, you can only do as many as you do, and at the end of the day, like the fourth one was all about the all about the Sulanian and all the other pedophile shit, and then into more of the Sulanian stuff. Like you can only tell that story, and it takes as long as it takes, but like the story's interesting. So like the same thing with Chris Chan, like his story is kind of fucking really interesting. And sorry, Karen, I heard you.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn out, but I just wanted to say I had a blast.
Definitely, man, really enjoyed it.
I had a blast talking with you guys about Joe, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thanks for coming. It was great.
It was really cool to talk to you.
Yeah,
really cool too, babe. Take care, okay?
Yeah, thanks, Karen. See ya.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye.
Definitely.
I'm gonna hop out for like a couple minutes, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right.
Sure.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about whatever.
We'll reset things, and I'd love to like. I don't know if you. I mean, you'll probably like go through another documentary, but I'd love to at least like talk more about the part 4, man, because I've got a lot to say on that. That was really that was my favorite.
Sure.
One.
I think the next documentary is probably going to be about Alex Jones. That's what I'm feeling.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm worried that it's going to get taken off YouTube, but I want to do it because it's such a fucking crazy story. Like started watching Alex Jones off and on probably around mid 2000s, and he's so much different then than he is now. It's crazy to see him going from like this weird, obscure conspiracy theorist radio host to like a mainstream facet of the American media, the right-wing conservative internet culture. It's fucking bizarre.
Plus, the funny thing, like, as much as there's so much content on him with like Ping Trip and Place Boying and just a lot of these people that are just like providing loaded, like, really funny Alex Jones content, I've not stumbled across like some serious, real in-depth documentary series on him as of yet. I mean, one might exist, but you might definitely be filling in a little niche there. That would be really cool. I'd definitely enjoy listening to that.
Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit when I get back. I gotta head out for a little bit.
Oh, it's all good. I'm gonna actually end the stream and I'm gonna restart a new just hangout. I'll have Jerry in, I'll have Plaid in. Anybody who wants to come in at all, I'll have you in. I'm just gonna end it here so like the length is right and it's just what we did.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in a little bit.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we're coming right back. I'll probably restart in about 10 minutes or so, like around that.
Get a drink and some food as well, but I'll be back.
Yeah, grab a drink, grab some food. You guys want to come back and like watch some more? We will definitely keep going. But cool. Yeah, that was so much fun. That was cool. People seem to really like it too, so I think that was all good. And we'll talk about part 4. Cool. We'll talk about everything. So, all right, guys, that was fun. See you in like 10-15 minutes. Peace out.